It opens. Oh, my pizza's here. Move faster. God, when are you going to get rid of that king? Where's my table?
You broke it over my back.
I broke it over your back. Oh, yeah, that's right. You know, I blame you for that. That was a favorite table of mine. Well, you know what you're going to have to do now. You're going to have to be the table. Don't be careful. Don't drop the pizza. There we go. Can't believe I have to stand for this. Ladies and gentlemen and genders all across the spectrum for today's very special episode of Jivin with Jack. Folks, I had a whole show planned out for today, and lo and behold, the topics changed because Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney. Couldn't make that up. In fact, we're going to talk about this. It's not doing too well in the box office in the last couple of weeks. It had a huge opening weekend and, kind of been teetering off. But I'll tell you what we are going to talk about also, the Suicide Squad. I think it's sitting at 98 or 100%. It keeps fluctuating. But holy crap, the reviews for the James Gunn, the Suicide Squad are coming in. And they're not just good. They're overwhelmingly positive. Can't say that about Black Widow. Could the DCEU, as we have been predicting or hypothesizing, be actually turning things around? We don't know, but we're going to pretend we do. In other words, in all other things, Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker is out. And I wonder, is she out for the reason she gives, or is it because some of the fan base have been attacking her since day one because she's a woman? Is there a problem? We're going to talk about this. Who better to talk about this than men? Is there a problem with men seeing strong women? If that's the case, what about Wonder Woman? What about the opening success of Black Widow? What about Captain Marvel? Movies with women in charge that have done really well. What is going on here? Is there kind of a civil war among men, or is it a little bit more complicated than that? Well, we're going to get into it. We want you to get into it, all right? We are going to talk about a new Predator movie. Ooh, yeah, because look, those Predator sequels are so good. But anyway, I'm kind of done with Predator. I love the first one. I even kind of like the second one. But they're going to go with a female hero again. Will this work? Are people going to go get mad? Are they going to Jodie Whittaker her? We don't know. Plus, South Park is racist. Is it? Kind of? Probably not. Yeah, sort of. But we'll talk about that. An acclaimed writer and journalist says that, yeah, shows like South Park and Family Guy are racist. Or is this going to be another victim of cancel culture? We're going to talk about all of that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're new to the channel, like, share, and subscribe. Please help us. We do it for you and we do it for culture. Listen, Daddy's not here today, so we're going to be a little liberal with the comments, but we need to generate revenue. So for as little as $3 a month, you could become a member of Pop Culture Corner. You get exclusive discounts on merchandise. You get early access to shows. Folks, Ty and Austin are seeing the Suicide Squad right now, and they're going to have a spoiler-free review and early reaction. You do not want to miss out on that type of stuff, folks. So please give us your support. Please use Super Chats. If you give $1, 30 cents, I don't care. But it really, really helps us a lot, helps us spread the word. So what am I going to do? I don't have Ty. I don't have Austin. I don't have Paul or Donovan or any of those guys. So what I did was I went to like this kind of Skid Row area where they have a lot of homeless people. And a man offered me oral sex in exchange for money. And I said, no. But would you like to co-host a show? He said yes. I stole a laptop from a child the other day. I can co-host a show. So joining me today is my buddy, Timmy.
That was the craziest intro I've ever received, Jack. Thank you for that, though, man. Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Just to clarify something, that is not how I know Tim. Tim is actually a patron from Bonks. And me and him talk all the time. So how have you been?
Great, really good. Long time no see.
I know, right? We haven't seen each other since what, Tuesday?
Yeah, doing really well though. Kind of getting a little nervous tonight. Apparently, there's a big tornado warning going on. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping the electricity stays on for this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So there's a war. So me and Tim are in Philly, and sometimes when you have these tornadoes, they have like really strong wind gusts, and the wind just knocks out the power. So if you see me suddenly disappear, that'll be the reason why. And then if Timmy's still there, Tim has offered to continue the show for about 4 hours. Or Caden will come in and we'll either end the show or we'll continue it. A little later, we're going to be joined by my friend Charlie from Raging Entertainment. He saw some of the topics. He's got something to say. Also check out Charlie's channel, Raging Entertainment. He'll be on later today. But listen, I've known you since September, right? You started coming to Quizzo at Bonks, and you really helped it grow.
I did what I can. I would like to say, yeah, at one point, outside of my team, who brings 10 guys sometimes just to try and get a win. We brought a few other teams too, yeah. But it's a blast, man. I mean, you're probably
our viewers know Ashley and Riley from the segment we did, Two Girls, One Jack. I actually met them through Tim. They're actually Tim's friends. In fact, she's the sister, or Ashley's the sister of one of your friends, right?
Riley is the sister of Ashley, and Ashley is the fiance of Ashley. So there was no easy way to kind of do that.
Doesn't Ashley have a brother there?
Oh, Danny. Yeah, Danny.
Yeah. They're all related to each other. So listen, I appreciate those of you tuning in. Let's get to it. Caden, hit that transition. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so let me ask you this. Did you hear about Scarlett Johansson suing Disney?
I did not hear
okay. That. This legit happened. It dropped earlier this morning. Scarlett Johansson is suing Disney because of the way they released the movie, both on Disney Plus and in theaters, right? So this is courtesy of Cinema Blend. Essentially, and I'm going to read from the Wall Street Journal. Scarlett Johansson filed a lawsuit Thursday in the Los Angeles Superior Court against Disney, alleging her contract was breached when the media giant released the film on Disney Plus streaming service at the same time as its theatrical debut. Johansson said in the suit that her agreement with Disney, Marvel Entertainment, guaranteed an exclusive theatrical release, and her salary, was based in large part on the box office performance. So, because the movie was dually released in theaters and on Disney Plus, I think like 60 or 80, a lot of people watched it on Disney Plus. She may not get a cut of it because it was on Disney Plus. She may only get from the theatrical run. And right now, the theatrical run is maybe at 143 domestically million. So, damn, I mean, if she was out before, she's definitely out now.
Well, you got to understand, Jack, she's the primary breadwinner in that relationship. Colin Jost isn't really making that much SNL money compared to her. You know what I mean? So yeah. She's, I guess it's a little pressure back at home.
Yeah. I mean, look, this happened a couple Denis Villeneuve, the guy who made the Dune movie. He also did the Blade Runner sequel. He had problems with this also. There were a lot of people, let's say Warner Brothers, right, who were like, dude, these movies were meant to come out in theaters, and now you're doing this thing where it's on HBO Max and in theaters. We're going to lose a lot of money. And there's a lot of cinema purists like Christopher Nolan. I don't know if you heard about this, but Christopher Nolan left Warner Brothers. He's been with Warner Brothers for a very long time. He's like, nope. I'm not doing this, dual thing, where it's my movies are meant for the theater. And he left. And so Scarlett Johansson, this is kind of interesting because she knew this was coming. I mean, it's not like they just suddenly dropped this on her. They've been saying for a while now that this is going to happen. Do you think that like maybe her lawyer said like, wait till it comes out and then sue? You're going to get a lot of money. What do you think?
That could be it. I would hate to think that conniving of her camp. But
yeah, here's the thing, her. I think here's the Fast 9 came out a couple of weeks ago, right?
Sure. Yep.
That movie, Universal made the decision. Universal's like, nope, it's going to be only in theaters. And they're kind of reaping the benefits. I think it's sitting north of $600 million right now.
Okay.
This is during COVID. It's made $400 million plus overseas. So right now that movie's doing well. And I think Scarlett Johansson, her legal team's like, wow, if we had made this only in theaters, people probably would have gone to see it. And it would have a much bigger box office revenue. You know, it probably would have crossed 500 million or 600. It probably would have made more money than Fast 9. And then she's like, wow, I'm losing a lot of money. And arguably what is going to be the last big movie I ever do. Because outside of Marvel, I don't think she's going to be in any more blockbusters. I'm like, think about it. I'm like, she's 38, 39. What are you going to be in the future that's going to be bigger than a Marvel movie?
She's pregnant now, correct?
Yeah, she's pregnant, so she's got an extra mouth to feed. So think of it that way.
Man, this is tough, Jack. This is a tough first question for me, man. Shoot.
Well, I put it to you this way. Okay, what is comparable to Marvel right now? So she's done with Marvel. She died in Endgame. They gave her this movie. This was going to be our last really, really big paycheck. And it turns out that because it's on Disney Plus and not on just in theaters, she's losing money. So I think maybe she's got a point to make. Like, dude, I was supposed to imagine if this came out in theaters and made, let's say, 800, 900 million, right? It probably might make more than that. Only in theaters, she probably was going to get a really big paycheck from Disney. And now that paycheck, like right now, I think it's sitting at somewhere north of $300 million, which is, you know, granted it's COVID times, but then you look across the sea at Universal Studios and Universal's like, yeah, Fast 9 just beat a Marvel movie. Not because it's a better movie, just because of pure circumstances, but she's suing. And I think she's got a good case to be made. They wrote, Disney intentionally induced Marvel's breach of agreement without justification in order to prevent Ms. Johansson from realizing the full benefit of her bargain with Marvel. Now, here's the thing. Without justification, we are in a pandemic. I think that's going to be Disney's point. Disney's going to be like, well, yeah, because this freaking pandemic started a year ago, and it doesn't seem like it's going away. In fact, they're talking about more lockdowns. What do you think? Do you think she should do it, or do you think she's justified, or do you think she's just trying to get some money out at the last second?
No, she's justified. She is. I mean, I would be mad too, but I think you have to keep in mind, I mean, she's still, she still has the ceiling to be, an Oscar-nominated actress. I mean,
yeah.
What was her Marriage Story? I believe she nominated. Was she not?
Yeah, I think she was.
She was a big one in that same year.
Yeah, I think. Well, Marriage Story might have come out last year, I think, but everything's so crazy with like COVID. I don't think Marriage Story was nominated this year. Actually, it might have been last year. But my point is like, okay, so like she does Marriage Story. She's going to do a lot of movies, but like they're not going to have like those big budget things which give you those big budget paychecks. This might be her last really big budget film.
Yep. You're right.
Like, who knows? Maybe she joins another franchise and she becomes, I'm talking about $1 billion, $2 billion franchise. This is kind of her last big movie in terms of like $1 billion sales. And by putting it on Disney Plus, it probably cost her a lot of money. She probably got a small fee or a salary, right, for this movie. But she's like, oh, this movie's going to come out. I'll make $1 billion. I'll probably get $50-60 million. So do you know what Jack Nicholson did for the first Batman?
In terms
of salary. Okay. So here's what he did. For the first Batman, he knew that this movie is going to be huge, like massive. So he took a small pay cut and he said in his deal that I will get a percentage of the revenue. Warner Brothers said, deal, right? So this is what Scarlett Johansson did with Disney. Batman goes on to make like close to $500 million in 1989, when ticket sales were like $3. He gets $60 million in 1989 after the movie's over. So he comes off looking incredibly smart. Tim, either you're really still or I lost you there for a second. If I lost you, just reset your screen. But folks, so this is what Tim Burton did. Tim Burton Warner Brothers made the deal with Jack Nicholson. So it seems like the same thing happened with Scarlett Johansson. Scarlett Johansson probably made a deal, according to this, that, hey, I'm going to take money off the revenue. I'll take a percentage of the revenue. This will probably be the last really big budget film she's going to be a part of, because what else is comparable to Marvel? And by doing this deal where it's on Disney Plus and theatrical, she's kind of lost all of that. I mean, think about that. We're talking about a difference of tens of millions of dollars. Now, I'm not going to get into a whole whether she deserved it or not. As far as I'm concerned, she's a big part of the Avengers. She's a big part of the MCU. She deserves that money. Now, did they write anything about her contract about profits from Disney Plus? Probably not. Probably not. So right now, she's in a pickle where she's going to, sue them. And all right. There we go. Look at here we go. So we have look at Austin. Austin right now is watching the Suicide Squad, or he's practicing with the Suicide Squad. So he's in line. Let's hope he doesn't get there. Let's hope he misses the movie, because I'm jealous if they're out watching the Suicide Squad and I'm sitting here in the middle of a tornado.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. So Kate, what do you think? I think she has a fair point that, like,
it's weird because there's this other perspective. If she, like, all Marvel movies tend to be blockbuster hits and all that, like, if she, and also we knew that it was going to be a Disney Plus Premiere Access and theatrical side by side. So if knowing that, why didn't she say, hey, let's, redo my contract while we're at it? Like, while we're doing this, why don't we redo my contract so we can fit in this Disney Plus Premiere Access thing in? So then if it doesn't do so well, then boom. And also, Scarlett Johansson doesn't make good business or creative decisions. So at the same time, I would not put it past her of her not thinking of that because of that.
What her lawyer said. Her lawyer said, look, your character's already dead. The movie's coming out. You have a strong case to make, but let the movie come out first. Then you can say the legal secrets. I guarantee you, she didn't come up with this herself. Her lawyers, whoever her lawyers or agent, they probably said, like, wait till it comes out,
right? Then
sue, because then you can point to this, that, and that. And look, your relationship with them is already over. You can go work for Warner Brothers.
Her relationship with Disney is not over. She has the Tower of Terror movie, and then she also has this other movie that she's doing with them. So she honestly also ruined her relationship with Disney. And her relationship with Warner Brothers, I think, is not as well either. So two studios.
I just said Warner Brothers, but any other studio would gladly have her.
There's Universal and Paramount that are the last two big studios, and I think Universal. I think it's like she doesn't have bad blood with them, but there's certain things that they do that she doesn't want to be part of. Something weird like that. So all she has left is Paramount.
Hypothetically, and Tim's back, could you see a situation? You mentioned her relationship with Warner Brothers isn't that great. DC, restructuring. DC's like, hey, Scarlett Johansson, we'll guarantee you money. You want to join the DC universe? Could you imagine the situation? They did it with James Gunn. So,
the thing about James Gunn's situation, Scarlett Johansson's situation is different, because James Gunn and Warner Bros. Were in talks like before the firing, while Scarlett Johansson is now going on to Tower of Terror, a new Disney movie, and also now suing Disney at the same time. That's the difference with the situation where. You have a director who has been a creative person who's been in talks with the studio.
I just got to address something. So I'm going to say hi to the guys, Billy Roberts, Adam Silvestri, Marshall Lewis, Bat Dan. So when they jumped on, Caden jumped in to replace you, Timmy. So it said your name under Caden. Everyone was like, that sounds like Caden. But is it Timmy? Like, is it a joke? So guys, for those of you joining me, this is my buddy Timmy. From Bonks. He's filling in because Ty and Austin are watching the Suicide Squad. Ugh.
Yeah.
I'm so jealous.
Yeah. I need to make sure I give Ty my email to make sure he adds that to the list. Because there's a difference between, one making a bad creative decision / business decision, than talking with the studio already.
Yeah.
And so, with Scarlett Johansson's situation is that, one, she ruined the Black Widow movie herself. She's the one that rewrote the third act and rewrote the
really?
Taskmaster. Yeah, she rewrote.
I did not know that.
She had Jack Schaefer rewrite some of the stuff. So the reason why Taskmaster is Taskmaster is because of the rewrites that Scarlett Johansson ordered. That's why she became executive producer on it. And that's the other thing. If she became executive producer on it, she was part of the business decision to put it on Premier Access and Disney Plus. So that's the other thing. So she also is at fault as well.
Yeah.
Because
Timmy, you
so
haven't
it's
seen it, but like apparently Cage is telling us that she rewrote the third act because a lot of fans have issues with the third act. Like the first half of the movie is actually pretty good, setting up the story and everything, and the last half just kind of turns into a generic Marvel movie. And look, Ty, our creator, liked it. Austin liked it, or he said he had issues with it, but he liked it.
I had some issues with it. Yeah. It was there were some parts where I'm like that, like you can tell there's some parts that were reshot, and then there's some parts that were re-altered, and there's some parts that that was part of the original part, like you can tell that the Taskmaster versus Black Widow fight at the end, before she unmasks.
Don't worry, guys. We're not ruining anything for you. You know they're gonna fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, keep going. I'm fine.
Before Scarlett, Natasha unmasked Taskmaster. Before that happens, you can tell that those are two separate. They shot that two separate times. You can kind of tell because of, and it is what it is.
Here's the thing: like a lot of Marvel movies, I learned they do the pre-visualization before they hire a director, and so the director basically just films the stuff. Because the movie Black Widow, there's some great dialogue scenes in it between the family. Like those were the scenes I liked the most. Like so, there's scenes where the father figure, the Red Guardian's talking to Yelena, and just these family moments that you could tell were written by someone else, directed by someone else, and the action scenes. And I also have this problem with J.J. Abrams. He does these action scenes where he takes like a 5-course meal, puts it in one dish, and then slams it in your face like, eat it!
Yeah.
It's not like the food isn't good, but like he doesn't know how to direct action. At least that's how I feel. The way Cameron
he needs a better second unit director.
Exactly, he does. But listen, so Tim, any last thoughts about this? Do you think she's justified? Because Kane's making the point that why didn't she do this earlier? She knew this was going to happen. I think the lawyers told her, like, wait, you can make a lot of money if you wait.
She was, I don't know. How much longer could you push the movie? I mean, how long were we waiting? When was the initial release date?
Last year, May.
Last May, yeah.
I mean, her as a creative artist, I mean, could she even wait herself? You know what I mean? She probably wanted everyone to see the movie by now, too. Whether she was instructed to wait that long, probably. I don't think so.
You don't think so? I think
no. Knowing her and her creative business decisions, that was totally her misstep.
Yeah, but we'll see where it goes from now. I mean, she's a talented actress. I would have liked to have seen a better Black Widow movie. It's a shame that this will be the last one. I always theorized for like last year, like, I bet you the post-credit scene when Captain America returns the Soul Stone, she's going to like come back to life and she's going to come back. You know what I mean? Because in these Marvel movies, no one's ever dead. But I think now she's going to stay dead. If let's say in a couple of years, they're like, let's bring ScarJo back for like a cameo. Yeah, I think she's just iced out.
Yeah, she also like there's like people like theorizing and speculating that she could possibly show up in Secret Invasion as a Sqaud impersonating her, like, or something.
And you can control anybody.
Yeah.
I mean,
and it's like people are just like, oh, what if like it's like a bad Sqaud is impersonating Natasha to taunt Yelena or something like that, and it's like, well, now that's ruined. Like like that speculation stuff is ruined because now she ruined her business.
Ruined a business relationship with a very powerful company. Real quick, Nick says, I don't know why you guys. I'm the one trashing it. Austin and Caden have issues with it, and Tyler liked it because Tyler likes everything. So
yeah,
Ty likes everything.
Oh, it seems like
Everything's
Ty
a
and Asta are
masterpiece,
in the
man.
comments.
Yeah.
They're watching this.
Am I wrong that isn't it implied she has a Russian accent in the comics? I could be making that
Yeah.
up.
So basically, the whole thing about that's the thing. People have to realize that she's an undercover agent as well. So she has to learn the American accent, and then so the only thing that I had an issue with was like with her like whole backstory is that she forgot how to pronounce Budapest in the movie. Yeah, I was like, why? Like that was okay. But other than
that can happen. Like my dad grew up in British schools in Pakistan. He's been American now for 35, 36 years. Some of the ways he pronounces words, like he learned under the British system, he's changed. He always jokes that his English got ruined by coming to America. Like he spoke proper British English. Now he speaks American English, and he's using words he would not have used before. He used to say schedule when I was a kid. Now he said schedule.
Yeah.
Yeah. It can happen.
Yeah. But yeah, like she has.
Adam just said Ty says he likes everything. Yes, he does. He likes everything except good things. But that's all right. It's a joke. I'm just jealous for watching the Suicide Squad right now. But you know what? While we're here, let's see what happens. Because we'll probably be talking about this for quite a while. I got the transition ready. Let's talk about the Suicide Squad reviews. Let's get into it. So, damn. 2 days ago it was at 100. Right now it's at 98%. And look, so we've been talking a lot on this show about will DCEU ever get it together? You know, Harley Quinn kind of got mixed reviews. Not everyone was crazy about it. People liked Shazam, but it wasn't a big blockbuster film. But this movie is getting over-the-top, ridiculous, positive reviews. Tim, are you excited to see James Gunn's The Suicide Squad? It's currently at 98.7%, but it's getting really good reviews. Now, people say that Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter, but we know it makes a difference. The reason the whole thing that happened with Zack Snyder happened, part of the reason were the reviews. It was a negative score, 26, 27% of Rotten Tomatoes. Whether we admit it or not, like, look, we were happy that Snyder Cut got a good score, and we were like, yeah, Rotten Tomatoes. But let me ask you this, Tim, are you excited?
Certainly excited. I don't think James Gunn's ever failed me. You know what I mean? I don't think that I've ever not enjoyed anything he's ever done, dating back to, he's had his name in the early Scooby-Doo movies, I think.
Yeah, he wrote
Dawn of the Dead. You ever see the Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead?
Yes.
He wrote that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I figured he had a hand in it. I kind of got that vibe. I never know if he's, producing, directing, but first two Guardians, amazing. Anything in the realm of superheroes for this guy. Even Bright. What did he do? Not necessarily.
What was the one that was supposed to be like an evil Superman? It was about with the boy. Kane, the boy. What's it called? No.
Brightburn.
Yeah.
And his brother and his cousin wrote and directed that.
Okay.
Or something. It was like, and he produced it.
Yeah, anything he has his name to, man. I get excited for. I really do.
Let me just read a little bit of the snippets of the top critics. So, like the other critics, forget about them. Let's talk about the top critics. So this is Roger Ebert. His website, obviously, he's dead, but only the man who wrote Romeo and Juliet could deliver something this gleefully grotesque, vicious, unapologetic, and the DC universe is all the better for it. In many ways, the gleefully profane, anything-goes mayhem of the Suicide Squad feels like a mega-budget version of the Troma Studios production that gave Gunn his start, and thank goodness for that. An epic, this is the London Evening Standard, very British. An epic that is adorable as it is violent. This might be, the big shot in the arm the DC universe has needed. And look, Shang-Chi is yet to come out. The Eternals is yet to come out. Spider-Man is yet to come out. Hawkeye is yet to come out. But it's very much possible that DC might make the movie that everyone's going to be talking about next year or going into this year. And that's a huge change when it comes to this.
But do you think that that's because we've been so craved for a decent superhero flick? Because it's been how long? I mean, since the Snyder Cut, did everyone even enjoy the Snyder Cut?
Yeah, you know what? That's interesting because, like, our fan base, the people watching, we're all Snyder fans. In fact, the reason I joined Pop Culture Corner was because I was a huge fan of Zack Snyder. Outside of this, like, at the bar, how many people we have at a bar every Tuesday night? Like, maybe
you pack it in, Jack. You really do.
100.
I would say 100's fair.
100's fair. I talk to every table, and I'll tell them about the podcast, and I'll tell them about Zack Snyder's Justice League. They're like, "What? Justice League? Oh yeah, that came out a couple of years ago. Yeah, that was." I'm like, no, it's the original version. Mm-hmm. There's like very little interest in it. And my buddy Kevin, all of you who have sympathy for Kevin, my intern, he was like, "Oh, I still think the first Avengers was better." And I'm like, ugh. But all right, but like, I think one of the reasons Warner Brothers hasn't. There's this whole movement called Restore the Snyderverse. You guys all know about this, which is to restore that storyline. The first Suicide Squad had a very negative impact, unfortunately. It was a big hit. I kind of liked it. I had issues with it. But this movie could do for DC what they wanted this movie to do. The original Suicide Squad. The original Suicide Squad was there to say that, hey, we're different. We're going to have violence. We're going to be raunchy. We're going to take bad guys who are evil and violent, and they're going to be the heroes. And it didn't really succeed at that mission. Now, there's a whole controversy of that Suicide Squad, just like the Justice League, was heavily tampered with. But this movie could be a huge success, a huge W for DC. Among the reasons it's rated R, Marvel hasn't released any rated R. Marvel Studios, at least, hasn't released any rated R stuff. Are you going to see it next weekend?
I will 100% be in theaters to see that weekend. If I can get a ticket. I mean,
yeah. It's going to be on HBO Max also, but I have HBO Max. I am not seeing it on HBO Max. I'm going to go see it at the IMAX or the I'm going to go see it at the IMAX or the X Plus. But everyone is saying, like, dude, see it in a movie theater. And James Gunn apparently has been said it's going to be more like a war movie, like a 70s Vietnam era style film. Now, I haven't gotten those vibes from the trailers, but I also know the trailers are not showing us everything.
Right.
But what do you think about that? See, that's why I think it's good to have a director who's kind of an auteur that does their own thing. He was basically given 100% freedom to do what he wanted. That was not given to the director who did the first Suicide Squad. That was not given to Zack Snyder. But what do you think about that, like a war movie?
I think that DC is kind of sitting back and saying to themselves, what do we have to lose at this point? To give somebody that kind of creative control, who you've already seen time and time and again has succeeded with that creative control. I think it's a A+ move on DC's part, and he'll be probably the first guy of many for DC coming up after this movie to probably have that kind of control.
Yeah, because like DC and Warner Media, they've been kind of dragged through the mud, and we've been, like, us fans have been throwing the mud at them. Like, dude, you could have given us the Snyder Cut, or at least a version of it back in 2017. Sure. It didn't. You butchered the original version of the Suicide Squad, which you still haven't seen. Apparently, that was a very different movie with a different ending. So apparently, Steppenwolf, who was the main villain in Snyder Cut, he was supposed to be the main villain, or he's going to show up at the end, possibly, of the Suicide Squad.
That wasn't about the whole Steppenwolf coming up. It was something that Ayer talked about. It was in concept arts, and Ayer said that he scrapped the whole thing and rewrote it and put an Incubus in, and then Jeff Johns rewrote some scenes. It basically the Ayer cut is the middle ground between BVSUE and the Snyder Cut. It's like right in the middle where there's Jeff John rewrites and there's scenes altered and cut out. And Ayer has said that there's a scene that not said, but like shown. There's this scene where basically Joker gives up his gang to Steppenwolf to be part of the first Parademon army to take over Gotham.
Yeah, that's what it was. Again, another movie that was butchered. Billy Robert, I want to address your point. So, Tim, I think this is directed to you. Money is what they have to lose. I think the point that Tim is making is not like they're not going to lose money, is that they have lost money. They have lost money. They cut Batman vs. Superman a lot. They lost money because I think the Ultimate version was better. They cut Suicide Squad. They lost money. they cut Justice League, they lost money. I think what the maybe Tim back me up. I think the point you're trying to make is that so far what they have done hasn't worked well. It worked with Aquaman, it worked with Shazam. Birds of Prey got mixed reviews. I actually like Birds of Prey. I didn't have issues with that movie. I mean, I had issues with it, but I didn't hate it. But right now they're like, F word. What do we do now? We can't curse. No. What do we do now? We have nothing to lose. James Gunn, here's $150 million. Show us what you can do. And sometimes when you're desperate, if you're a studio and you're desperate and you're willing to try anything, you can sometimes find gold.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Michael Jordan in 1989 after losing to the Pistons 2 years in a row. Like, he's mad now. And then he wins like 6 championships after, like, they used to be saying, don't piss off Michael Jordan. Well, right now, DC's like, we're looking like dopes. We're nowhere near where Marvel is. Let's try anything. What do we have to lose? Either we keep going downhill or we start going uphill. And this could be a very strong start for the DC extended universe. Is that what you were saying, Tim?
That's, in a nutshell, is what I was saying. I mean, yes, they will lose money. God forbid it does tank, but DC can afford to lose some pocket change over taking a shot on James Gunn. Who clearly proven time and time again that he knows what he's doing with that kind of creative control.
And Batdan, hashtag release the Iron Cut. Keep fighting, guys. Keep fighting for the Iron Cut and the Snyderverse. He's asked, could this be motivation for Warner Brothers not to interfere in general with their creatives? I think they might have learned that lesson with the Snyder Cut.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
that came out and they're like, oh, shoot. We kind of screwed this up and makes us look like idiots. In fact, I would rather they get auteurs like James Gunn, like Zack Snyder, directors like directors who are directors. You know, they're not making a movie by committee, and they're like, here's $100 million, give us your best thing. And in that sense, they could outdo Marvel by making movies that are made by directors. I mean, that's kind of what DC used to do. Look at the first Superman, Richard Donner, Batman, Tim Burton, Dark Knight trilogy, Christopher. They used to give it to directors and like, hey, you give us some gold. You show us what you can do. And in that sense,
the reason why it changed is because of Charles Roven. Charles Roven was a big, and he went to go to Disney, and then he started making those live action remakes, and he started with Alice in Wonderland, and you know.
But then Charles Roven, he was involved with the Dark Knight trilogy, wasn't he? Like,
yeah, he was. Yeah. I think he left right after the Dark Knight.
Okay.
He wasn't. I don't think he was involved with Dark Knight Rises, if I believe correctly.
Okay, maybe
Fair.
not.
Yeah.
But like, you know, a couple of weeks ago, Tim, we had the top critic for Variety, Owen Gleiberman, and we were talking about the idea of directors. Like, you think about it, how many directors are there outside the comic verse that we know? Like maybe Tarantino. There's maybe some up and coming, like, you know, Jordan Peele, but like, there are very few big name directors outside of comic book movies, and that having too many comic book movies might be hurting the auteurs. But if you can get the auteurs to make comic book movies, you get gold. Look what the Russo brothers did. You've seen Civil War, you've seen Infinity War, The Winter Soldier. Those were two directors, brothers, who had a vision, and they executed their vision, and I think gave the MCU a big shot of adrenaline. So to the point that Batman was making, I hope so. In fact, this is the edge that DC has over Marvel. That, you know what, we're going to let directors do their thing. We're not going to make a movie by committee like we did with Suicide Squad or Justice League. We're going to let James Gunn do his thing. Whoever the next director is up and coming, James Wan.
Right.
They're letting James Wan do his thing because James Wan is an established director. He did 2 Conjuring movies, 2 Insidious movies, did the Fast 7. And look how that was the first $1 billion movie for them. I'm going to bring in Charlie from Raging Entertainment. Charlie's going to be joining us, so we're going to actually turn into a panel discussion, which we know Ty loves to do. Guys, give a warm welcome to Charlie from Raging Entertainment. Caden, I'm going to put you in the bottom just because of the logo. Is that cool?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Hey, Charlie, what's up?
What is up, guys?
We're talking about the Suicide Squad reviews. Are you surprised by how we say Rotten Tomatoes doesn't matter, but it kind of does. Like when the Snyder Cut got good reviews, you were like, see, we told you it got good reviews. But right now it went from 100, it's at 98, 97. It fluctuates, give or take. But damn.
Well, I know that I don't have that early access to see Suicide Squad, but from watching people's reviews on it, I've been hearing a lot of good things. People going into it kind of hesitant, not sure what to expect, this and that. And it's funny because I just recently watched the Jimmy Kimmel where he had John Cena, James Gunn, and Margot Robbie on.
Yeah, he was dressed as Peacemaker.
Yeah, and you know, they had asked, how did you get, you know, Sly, Sylvester Stallone, to be King Shark, basically? And he just said they're good friends, and he just asked, basically.
Yeah. And he's
So that was
working with them in Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right?
Yes, I think it was number 2.
Yeah.
He was in 2. And he's going to be in 3.
Weren't they the original Guardians, like him, Michelle Yeoh?
Yeah, they were. Yeah.
Because a lot of people forget the iteration of
were,
Guardians started like 12, 13 years ago. Sorry, go ahead, Caden.
Yeah, so basically Sylvester Stallone, Michael Rosenbaum, Miley Cyrus, Michelle Yeoh, and 2 other actors were part of the original Ravengers.
The Ravengers, yeah.
The Ravengers, and which were the original Guardians of the Galaxy. But he says Ravengers.
Yeah, apparently he had a hard time saying that word.
Yeah.
Well, I have a hard time saying a lot of words.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people think he's a bad actor. He's not. He's actually, if you see his stuff outside of like Rocky and like the action movies, if you watch movies like Copland and stuff like that, he's actually a really good actor.
Oh yeah, I love Sylvester Stallone, honestly.
Schwarzenegger, like, oh, he's just a meathead. No, he's a pretty good actor. And
no, if you had to go by performance alone, Sylvester Stallone beats Arnold over that because Arnold, he was mainly the muscle man. If anything, he was just there for the look, the appearance.
I compare Arnold to The Rock because it's more about their personality. The Rock had a personality. Arnold had a personality.
Exactly.
And they're always going to play the same guy in every movie. Like, they're not going to play a weak guy or a number 2 guy or a beta male. They're going to be the big muscle guy who's in charge, you know.
Oh, yeah.
Sly, like, if you watch even going back to Rocky 5, which isn't a great movie, where he starts to show his vulnerabilities, like, you know, of Rocky Balboa losing his mind. Not his mind, but his health. He's losing his mind in the Creed movies. Like, I can't see Arnold doing that, or if maybe he has, I haven't seen it, but, you know.
Arnold, I haven't really seen anything, like, dramatic from him. I really haven't.
Yeah, Tim, stop talking so much.
Nate, no, I think I actually know who that is. Nate Fisher. That is that's a 6 Feet Under reference. I know exactly who that is. That is
who is that? Who is Nate Fisher?
Eric Renegades right there. Going by his I guess his alias.
Yeah, Nate Fisher. What's up, Tim? Stop talking so much.
That's his burner account.
Made a point that I think I said before, maybe last week, that even if the Suicide Squad, let's say Warner Brothers hadn't messed with the first film, it like David Ayer's Suicide Squad would not be to the theatrical version what the Snyder Cut was to the Justice League. Like, you would not see that much of a dramatic difference in terms of quality. Yeah, story, dialogue, action, but it still might have been an movie.
Well, I mean, David Ayer, I would hope to see the cut that people would like to see, like with Snyder. You know, hopefully something will come of that. But if to compare, like, say, Suicide Squad to the Suicide Squad, I've been hearing that this one is actually, like, way better.
Oh yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little hesitant with it because I mean I enjoyed Guardians of the Galaxy. Don't get me wrong, I did. But when I heard that he was gonna do the Suicide Squad, I'm like, I don't know if that's his, you know, flavor. Yeah. But apparently he did a really good job with it. So
I mean, he is an R-rated director. Like, you know, the way people are talking about, like, violent, irreverent, and all that stuff, it kind of reminded me of when Tarantino first started, like when Pulp Fiction first came out, or even like later when Kill Bill. Like, oh my God, like, he's irreverent, he's unapologetic, and maybe like James Gunn is better suited to the R-rated world.
Maybe
might be a better artist in the R-rated world than he is in the PG-13 world. Like, it might suit him better.
You know what? Thinking about it, maybe he could do a Shazam movie. Maybe. With the comedic chops, and then of course adding that, you know, violence on top of it, and like giving it the rating that it deserves.
Well, some fans, we actually talked about this on Tuesday. Like, what if James Gunn did a Justice League 2? And at first I was like, yeah, that'd be kind of cool. But then the more I thought about it, I'm like, okay, so it would be more like Joss Whedon's Justice League, a lot of humor and stuff. I don't know if I want that in a Justice League movie.
Well, he'd probably do better than Joss Whedon, though.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, yeah, he would do better than Joss Whedon. If it's up to having Joss Whedon versus James Gunn, I'll take James Gunn.
Right. What I liked about this announcement of James Gunn doing the Suicide Squad was because, like, the Suicide Squad is like this goofy group of villains doing what heroes are supposed to do, but the heroes can't do it because they're doing other things.
Mm-hmm.
And seeing that it was James Gunn and seeing that he's like good with dark comedy, good with bright comedy, good with like all these different type of comedies and different actions and different stuff like that, I was like, okay, this is gonna be really good. And just seeing the characters he chose was like, okay, yeah, he chose the right characters. Because my thing about like the first Suicide Squad is that it's all Batman villains,
Mm-hmm.
and
Basically.
it's not Suicide Squad anymore. It's Batman Rogues Gallery with bombs in the neck.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's not Suicide Squad. But with James, he went with all varieties. He went with Superman villains, Batman villains, Flash villains, Booster Gold villains. Like, he went with everyone's villains. Like from the most obscure hero to like the most A-list hero.
Oh yeah.
And
I'd
so,
never
like,
heard of Peacemaker. I'll be honest with you.
Peacemaker is an anti-hero. He's part of the Charleston characters, which is Booster Gold, Blue Beetle,
Okay.
Judo Master, and like stuff like that. So it's like, so he's like Charleston. He wrote these characters. He wrote Ted Kord. He wrote Jamie Reyes, and all these characters, and then sold them to DC.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And so it's like, he wrote them for DC characters.
Okay.
So Peacemaker is nor a villain nor a hero. He's an anti-hero / anti-villain. Like he's like
He
what
doesn't
James
pick sides.
No,
basically.
he doesn't. He's
But I
one
would
of
say
those
like someone was saying, well, that he's like the Punisher. But from the vibe I got from one of the scenes they released, he said, "I will have to kill every man, woman, or child for peace." I'm like, yeah.
Right.
See, the Punisher wouldn't kill every man, woman, or child for peace.
he Punisher is this person who Peacemaker is like what James and John have said, that he's a douchey Captain America, and
would it be?
And Charleston actually created Peacemaker as a douchey Captain America. That's like the whole.
When you said douchey Captain America, I immediately thought Homelander, but Homelander's evil. Like
Homelander
was a good guy, but still
Homelander
kind of
is a
douchebag.
mixture of a douchebag, evil guy, Superman, and Captain America into one thing.
Yeah.
But
have you watched The Boys?
I love The Boys.
See, because I think this movie is going to be like The Boys, where it's like dark, there's humor, there's blood, it's that type of thing. And I'm like, you know what? Props to DC for doing this.
Actually, Nate Fisher, he wrote both of them. The funny thing is, actually, the crazy thing about the first two Scooby-Doo movies, the live-action ones, that they're both written by James Gunn, and you can tell that they're written by James Gunn.
Yeah,
and it's more writer focused than director focused.
Yeah,
because the director who did it has no style at all, like no style at all. He directs what the script is.
Let me tell you what my impression was, because when I heard that James Gunn was going to do the Suicide Squad. Now, Cade had already mentioned that he was in talks with Warner Brothers to do Suicide Squad before he was fired from Disney. But the perception was, this is before I was doing podcasts or we had scoops, was that Disney fired him and DC hired him. And I don't know how you feel about this. I'm not a big fan of cancel culture. Even people who deserve it, I say, well, some people deserve it, should have
cancel culture should not exist.
Yeah, you should, especially if they apologize. And if they are genuinely sorry, then keep going. And when DC did that, I'm like, okay, something's changing, because I don't feel like that's a Walter Hamada, Jeff Johns, Toby Emmerich decision. It might have been, but like, here's a guy that got in trouble for joke tweets he made in like 2007, which were jokes. He wasn't like, I support pedophilia. He was making fun of it. He dressed up as like a priest, I think, at like a party or something.
Yeah, it was like a wedding that he was doing, officiating.
So, look, it's not that. Look, I'm a South Park guy, and we're going to get into South Park, but like the whole cancel culture thing is now people are going after South Park again. But this time I think it could stick. But when I heard that Warner Brothers did that they hired James Gunn after this controversy, I'm like, good. He's a good artist. He's a good director. And right now, I think he might be even hotter now because I think people are going to, if he wasn't a household name before, he may very well become a household name now because people are like, dude, he made that Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
Really good.
And also, like, the other thing is that people were saying, like, oh, they're advertising him as the Guardians director. What else has he directed that has been a Giants hit, CBM, like, fans hit? Both Guardians movies have been hits for Giants' hits for, like, all comic book movie fans, for everyone. So, and that's the only movie that he recently directed that people remember, you know?
Yeah. Not only that, but, like, here's the thing. The movie fans, the comic book fans, the nerds, the dorks, whatever, we know who James Gunn is. You ask the average person, like, hey, the Guardians of the Galaxy, who directed it? They're like, the guy directed the second one, you know. But the first Suicide Squad left such a bad taste in people's mouths. I think a couple of weeks ago I asked at Bonds, I'm like, anyone interested?
I was so disappointed with the first one.
But people were like, no, we're not going to see the new Suicide Squad movie. The first one was so bad. So this movie has to kind of correct for that, whether it was David Ayer's fault or Warner Brothers. That's in the past. But like, hey, the guy who made Guardians of the Galaxy made this movie. People were like, oh, I like Guardians of the Galaxy. You know.
Yeah, I was very disappointed with the first one of the Suicide Squad because one, Jared Leto didn't get enough screen time in my opinion.
Yeah.
As the Joker.
Yeah.
And I was a little disappointed that they killed Slipknot a little too quick in the movie.
The thing that's the crazy thing, I feel like
that's gonna happen
was a perfect kill.
I think there's gonna be that one person they're gonna kill right off the bat, like just to kind of reestablish, like, yeah, you know.
I think we all know who dies first in this one.
I don't. I'm trying to avoid. Speculating.
Yeah. So it's because like today, Ayer just tweeted out like 3 big like essays, a big essay today, and he like talked about his like life growing up, like from going from being kicked out of his home, coming to LA, living with his cousin in South Central since he was 5. Basically, and growing up here, and basically he became part of the hood, and like how he took that and brought it into the Joker, and realizing that I'm like, wow, like the Joker was based off of Ayer if Ayer took the wrong turn. If he took the turn that he was with, if he took the turn that he went with his cousin to do.
Well, I mean, okay, so I liked Snyder's version of the Joker better than the Ayer one, basically. And because to me, when I watched the movie called The Little Things with Denzel Washington and Rami Malek with Jared Leto, when I saw his sinister, side in that movie, I was like, now see if he took that approach and add it to the Joker character and then give, that transition, a try, it would do great. And I think he kind of did that with the Snyder one, in my opinion. And it's turned out great, and I loved it.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I'm always kind of curious, like, he even says his scenes were completely different with that original Suicide Squad. I don't know if we'll ever see it. Maybe we will. Yeah. If fans make enough noise, we got the Snyder cut. The only difference was I think Snyder was more tactical. I don't want to say tactical. What's the word I'm looking for? Tactical in the way he talked about Warner Brothers. He was just like, at least up until recently, he was like, hey, it's there. It's up to them to release it. I want to do it. He did it like that. David Ayer is like got the knife out. He's got the knife out. He's a cornered cat. He's a broken beer bottle in the other hand. Like, come on, give me my movie. Any last thoughts about this? Because I do want to talk about South Park, Doctor Who.
Hold on. Disney just released a statement about the stuff. So
about Black Widow. If you can pull that up, yeah.
Yeah. So Disney just released a statement saying there is no merit whatsoever to this filing. The lawsuit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard of the horrific, prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
Disney has fully complied with Ms. Johansson's contract, and furthermore, the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus and Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on the top of the $20 million she received to date.
Yeah. She received 20, and she was going to receive more money on top of it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you're assuming if this movie had just been theatrical, no COVID, the movie probably would have grossed $600-800 million easy.
Yeah.
And she probably would have gotten a bigger chunk of that. Now that it's because of the dual release. Here's what I think is going to happen. If Disney wants this to go away, and they want this to go away, they might.
They'll probably settle.
They'll settle, and maybe that's what is the long-term plan. Maybe the lawyers are like, you can't beat Disney, but they'll want to settle. So they'll give you $40 million to shut up and go away, and you take it, and everything will be hunky dory.
And then we won't cast you in any other fucking Marvel movie.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that might happen.
I'm almost believing that's going to happen, because if she's having this lawsuit with Disney and then Disney settles out of court and stuff and gives her money, whatever she's owed, then they could literally say, okay, well, since you put us through this ringer, we're going to go ahead and not allow you to be in any more of the Marvel movies. We're not going to give you a sequel to Black Widow, no nothing.
Yeah. Well, I think from her perspective, her contract is up. We don't know if. I assumed at some point she was going to come back, and maybe not next phase, maybe 5 years from now. But now that is completely out the window.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's gone, and they must have talked to her about that. Maybe she's kind of done with it. She's like, "Yeah, I'm done."
She could be.
And she's like, "I don't feel like doing it." Chris Evans, he's done. Robert Downey Jr. There are rumors that he might come back for one more film.
Well, actually, Chris Evans said he might return as Captain America.
Oh, really? Yeah. See, because all of a sudden you start doing indie movies and it doesn't pay for a $20 million mansion. You're like, you know what? No, I think I'll come back as Captain America.
Isn't that an older Captain America now?
Say that again?
Would he be returning as the older Cap?
I don't know. I mean,
that's what we don't know.
You watch Loki, now that you have alternate timelines of the multiverse, they could just have a Cap from another timeline, you know, and you don't have to worry about that at all, you know?
Oh, yeah. Like, because the ending of Loki totally set up everything, in my opinion, for the Spider-Man No Way Home and Doctor Strange, you know, Multiverse of Madness, in my opinion.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Oh, and Ant-Man 3. Sorry, and
Ant-Man 3. Yeah, I mean, it's. I might sound dire about Marvel because I was a big fan of Black Widow, but there's a lot of exciting. And so, yeah, they could totally bring him back. There might be a situation where they go back in time and like, Cap, we need your help. We need you to come back. And he has to like leave and, you know, something like that. Or he brings Peggy Carter with her. I don't know. Like, there's so many things they can do. He's still young. It's not like he's old. You know, they're still young. And if he wants a $20 million, $30 million payday, he'll do it. You know, pay for it. You know, his kids want their own private island. So I was like, all right, I'm going to do another Captain America movie just for my kids.
You know what I would like to see is Marvel possibly enter the possibility of Doctor Who.
Oh, well, since you mentioned it, we're going to talk about South Park, Doctor Who, Toxic Masculinity, and let's get oh yes, the topics I wanted to talk about, and I think Charlie. So here's the thing, Doctor Who's been around since November 22nd, 1963. It actually aired its first episode the same day JFK was shot.
Yes.
I have seen the newer iterations with Christopher Eccleston and David Tennant.
I'm all caught up on the new Who.
You're on the Who. Let me ask you this. What was your opinion when you heard they were going to have a female Doctor Who? And then did your mind change when you saw her, or did it reinforce what you thought?
You may be surprised on this, actually, because I didn't even watch Doctor Who until Jodie came. Okay. And Jodie actually got me into Doctor Who, so therefore restarted from Chris and then David and Matt and so on, basically. And now I'm all caught up. And I got to admit, I like her as, you know, Doctor, of course. I like David Tennant. I would say they're my top two.
Okay, because I really like Christopher Eccleston. I didn't realize he's only in for one season. You folks might remember him as Malekith from Thor: The Dark World. No, you don't. But anyway, he was in that. So this has kind of become a recurring issue because this also kind of happened with He-Man recently. We're like, okay, here's a story that was mostly male-dominated.
Oh, yeah.
Bringing a female to sort of become the new lead. We were debating this on Tuesday. Do you think He-Man returns in the second half? or is it going to be Tila? You know, we don't know.
Yeah.
But there's always this kind of overreaction by fans, and then the accusation is thrown out that, oh, and I know we got 3 guys and Cade makes 4, that like, oh, it's because these are boys who can't stand seeing strong women. But then on the other hand, a movie like Wonder Woman comes out, which was the first real big success critically and financially for DC. Wonder Woman 1984, whether you liked it or not, apparently was a win for Warner Media.
It was entertaining, but not the best.
But my point is, you know, then Captain Marvel, whether you like her or not, that movie made $1 billion. So apparently I was reading a study that of most of the people who watched Black Widow on Disney Plus Premiere were mostly men, you know. So I don't know if that argument necessarily holds true that toxic men don't like seeing strong women.
Mm-hmm.
I suggest the hypothesis we don't like it when, in order to make a woman look strong, they have to get rid of the male character or belittle the male character. I think that's what's really going on. And I haven't seen Jodie Whittaker's Doctor Who yet just because I haven't gotten there. I mean, I got a lot of seasons to get through. And
if you guys can hear me, I'll be right back because my headphones stopped.
Oh, okay. All right, cool. Yeah, go do your thing. Tim, you and I were talking about this yesterday.
Sir.
What do you think it is? Like, I do think, like, yeah, there are some dudes who are like, oh, man, they got this chick in there. But I don't think that's all of them. I think it's more, you know, where do we go? Let me put Charlie back in. I think it's more. There we go. It's more along the lines of like you're taking stories that were mostly male dominated, and that's what they always were, and you're changing them. And I think here's the thing. I think the studios wrongfully think that, oh, if we make a male-dominated story, if we put a female in charge, and all of a sudden girls will start watching it. I think the girls who would watch it are already watching it, like the nerdy types. But like, it's not good. Like, if my sister, she's not into this stuff. If I told her He-Man now has a female lead, Doctor Who has a female lead, would you want to watch? She's like, no. I don't watch that stuff. She watches Sex in the City. She watches the Kardashians. Like, Ashley, okay, Tim, let me ask you this. So Ashley and Riley, who were on our show when we first started, if you were to tell them, hey, Doctor Who now has a female lead, Predator is going to have a female lead, He-Man has a female lead, are they going to start watching those shows?
You have a better chance at seeing God. There's absolutely no way that thought process by the studios are going to bring, you know, the girls that I'm friends with anyway, they're all pretty much the same type of girls.
Like they're like what I would call, and this guy sounds generic, but girls. Like they're not into nerdy stuff. They're not gay.
They're very girly.
They watch the Kardashians. They're like my sister, like Sex in the City.
My
sister's favorite Marvel character is Bucky Barnes because Sebastian Stan is hot. Now, I'm not saying all women think like that, but like she has a big poster of Sebastian.
He's a great-looking guy.
He's a very good-looking guy.
Great-looking guy.
Well, the reason why I say it depends because, example, not a lot of girls watched, say, like wrestling until, like, say, maybe China was, you know, top dog in the, you know, industry at that time, as well as Lita and other women. You know,
even right now with like Becky Lynch is right now on hiatus, but like I would make the argument though that like you had China, but like the model that the studios are using now would be like, all right, let's get rid of Steve Austin, let's get rid of The Rock, let's get rid of Mankind and make China the top dog. That's not what WWE did. They put her up against. She used to fight Stone Cold and The Rock, and I think she's the first woman to win the Intercontinental. She beat Jeff Jarrett. Like I always thought female characters always work when they're up against something that looks like they can't beat, and that was sort of China's thing. Tim, did you ever watch WWE back in the day during the Attitude Era?
I was actually just thinking how not well my pay-per-view would do in SmackDown vs. Raw 2007 if my championship belt match in the main event was like a 4-woman tornado tag.
Yeah. And look, WWE is a good example because right now the women's wrestling is almost as good, if not better. Like their storylines are more interesting. And they didn't do it because WWE is like, here, we're going to get rid of the men, here are the women. No, they fought like hell to get there. My favorite wrestler right now is Becky Lynch, even though she's taking time off for starting a family. she is arguably cooler than any of the other male wrestlers. But
I don't like Seth Rollins.
You don't like Seth Rollins, but
no, I mean, I don't even like him as a person.
As a person, you can tell he's a bit of a douchebag. That's why
he is. I mean, because think about it like this, and this is what upsets me, because before him and Becky actually got together, he started dating Becky while he was still dating another woman.
That's how you do it. I mean, that's wrong. That's wrong.
I'm sorry, but he was.
Oh, yeah,
I don't like him.
You can tell that. But my point is, like, okay, so you look at WWE. In fact, they had the main event, was it 2 years ago, where it was Becky Lynch, Ronda Rousey, and Charlotte Flair. And some people are like, oh, this is social justice nonsense. I'm like, no, they're right now the hottest tickets. They're the ones who are putting butts in seats at WWE stadiums. Not the only part, you know, obviously people want to see other things. But, you know, you go back to like 98, 99, 2000, you talk about Lita. So yeah, the tag team called the Hardy Boys, and she started out as like she would be on their back. She would do these same aerodynamic moves that they were doing, and people were like, "Who the hell is she?" She is awesome. And they earned that. So it wasn't like WWE was like, "All right, let's get rid of the cool guys. Let's get rid of Stone Cold. Let's get rid of The Rock, and let's make Chyna the number one person." She earned that by being a phenomenal wrestler. She was able to compete with the guys. She used to body slam the guys. They did the same thing with Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey picked up Triple H, and you're like, holy crap, she is strong.
Oh yeah.
She also
the studios seem to have this, I think, mindset. And again, I don't really care about He-Man or even Doctor Who that much, but like, what we need to do is to make strong female characters. We have to make the men characters look dumb. And I think that's why a lot of guys are like, screw this. I'm not going to watch Birds of Prey. And I like Birds of Prey. It wasn't great, but I liked it. I thought it was entertaining.
I ended up liking Birds of Prey.
I like Birds of Prey too. And every guy in that movie is a complete moron. Like, not just dumb, but like really stupid. I'm like, I enjoyed it though. But here's the thing. You had strong female. It was a strong female character movie. It wasn't like the movie was called Batman and then Harley Quinn took over. And so I can kind of understand. Again, I'm not a He-Man fan. I actually liked some of the newer episodes. I saw about 4 or 5. There were 5 episodes. I think I saw the first 3. I liked what I saw. But when they hear the backlash, they then say, oh, it's toxic males. It's men who don't like strong women. I argue that in nerddom, we had strong women in comic book movies and television before Hollywood did. Hollywood was not taking those risks, with the exception of Ellen Ripley, with the exception of Sarah Connor. You know, maybe you could say Laurie Strode in like the Halloween 1 and 2. I think horror movies always had strong. And what made horror movies so great was you have these weak, delicate women who have to fight a Jason Voorhees, who have to fight a Freddy Krueger, who have to fight a Michael Myers, and they have to use their wits and their intelligence to win the day.
No, yeah.
And like, I don't want to see like a horror movie where like, oh, the guy's in trouble. I'm like, yeah, screw that guy. Save her. I want her to be the hero, the Scream Queen, you know. But I think it kind of goes down that rabbit hole where people like, it's either one thing, either they hate strong women or you love strong women. I'm like, can it be like, I could just like a strong character because the character's good, the acting's good, and the movie's good, the story's good. But I don't know. You said you liked Jodie Whittaker. I haven't seen her. I'm sure she was great, but I wonder, was her time up, or was the studio or BBC, whoever makes it, were like, okay, this ain't working out?
Well, from what I understand, they're still going to do another season with her, and it's going to be her last season, and it will be another female after her as a doctor. And but yeah, she got backlash, of course, just because it was a female doctor, and people are complaining about her performance. And to me, I think they're just talking shit, in my opinion, because she didn't even do a bad job. Because everybody has their own doctor, you know. Because Doctor Who was spanned out from like the 60s to like the 80s, and then of course it stopped for a while until the mid 2000s when Chris, you know, came in to play the Doctor. And
Sailor Moon is another good example. Justin Hines, Sailor Moon. Thank you.
But yeah, I mean, everybody has their own doctor, you know, that they like the most.
Yeah.
And so to give her crap about it is just wrong.
It's just wrong. And this is something bad that's happened. They attack her. Like my friend Austin loves The Last Jedi because he's not smart. But okay, but people attack that Rose Tico character. Was that what her name was? Rose Tico, the Asian girl. And some fans went after her. Like, have you seen The Last Jedi, Tim?
No.
Okay, good.
I did.
Yeah. They went after this Asian actress because her character was terrible. She had terrible writing. Her characterization was horrible. And then people went after her. And then critics in the media are like, see, we told you it's the guys. And that one, Carlos, I'm going to read what you said. I just hate when they emasculate the male supporting characters just to push the female lead. Okay, yeah, that's what I think it is. Like you got like Red Guardian and Black Widow. Yeah, in that case, he's a broken old man, but let him redeem himself. I thought they made him look kind of like, yeah, of the three, he seemed like the stupid one. You know, and this has kind of been like the trend in sitcoms, I would say, like post Cosby Show, where like the dads are really dumb. Like any sitcom you watch, the dads are dumb as a doornail. And I'm like, that's not the family I grew up in. My dad was not dumb as a doornail.
Well,
Tim, you have a dad?
I do have a thought. Is I don't know what it is about the recent, Star Wars movies that people thought that was so bad. Like, I don't know what it was that people saw that was so bad.
Of what?
Like, Last Jedi, Force Awakens, and, Rise of Skywalker, whatever. I don't know what people were so mad about with those movies. Like, what was it about them that people just got so upset over?
Yeah, well, here's the thing. I think I have my issues with it in terms of story. Actually, I'm going to say something. I actually thought Rise of Skywalker was actually better than The Last Jedi. But I have that different thing. I'm not saying I don't have issues with Rise.
I liked them all. I liked them all. I don't care. I liked them all.
But, like, I think a lot of people, issues I think was with Rey, and that she seemed overpowered. But, like, my point was, like, well, obviously she has the Force in her family. And, obviously in the third one, we find out she's Palpatine's granddaughter, right? Mm-hmm. And I think those rumors were swirling around back in 2016 when the first one came out, that she related to Palpatine. I think that was always the plan. But here we go. Also, you have just female leads to be challenged in traditionally masculine plot points like war and fighting. It's cool if the lead faces feminine struggles or wants to be a mother or something like that. Yeah, do you remember, you guys have seen Age of Ultron, right?
I have, yeah.
There's that line, she says that she feels like a monster because she can't have kids. And, like, people were mad about that. Like, oh, you got to have kids to feel like a woman. And I don't think that's what the scene was going for. They were just saying that choice was not given to her as a character. And people immediately like, oh, that's a male perspective that women just want to have kids. I'm like, I don't think that's where that was going. I think they were saying that choice was taken from her. She had just, and that's kind of addressed in Black Widow. Like, you don't really have a choice in the Red Room. They take out your parts and, like, that decision's made for you. Like, what do you guys think are examples? Like, I know we're guys, but like of strong female characters. I mentioned Ellen Ripley. I mentioned Linda Hamilton, Laurie Strode, or actually any female.
Mary Easttown.
Mare of Easttown. Did you see that?
I haven't seen that.
Oh, really? Kate Winslet. That might be her best performance. I mean, she's a Oscar-winning actress, but that might be a. Me and Tim can attest that she sounds like a girl from Delaware County. I mean, that's great.
They do a very good job. I was a little uneasy about that going into it.
Yeah. I
got onto it about 3 episodes late too. I didn't watch it live at first anyway, and everyone,
But she's good. Anything Meryl Streep is in, she just beats the shit out of you with her presence. Like, you put her up against any male actor, Meryl Streep is, no matter what role she's in, whether she's playing a nun, whether she's playing The Devil's Wear Prada, like, she's just an actress that has command presence. And I think
she does
think that, like, oh, if we just put anyone up there, it'll work. And the answer is, well, maybe it doesn't. And I think the big issue that we talked about on Tuesday with the He-Man thing isn't that people are against strong. And again, I like the 3 episodes I saw.
I'm not against strong women. I'm not against women being leads in movies, TV shows, whatever it may be. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not against it.
I got Buffy the Vampire right there, right? Slayer.
Oh, yeah. I love the movie.
Character. The movie's great too, Christy Swanson. But like, I think what happens is, like, okay, so the reason Buffy worked, the reason Wonder Woman worked, the reason even Captain Marvel worked to some degree was that these were
Xena, Warrior Princess.
Yeah, Xena, Warrior Princess. Like, these were strong female characters who were new. Now, I think, like, we saw this with Ghostbusters, and like I saw the Ghostbusters movie, the remake. It wasn't that it was bad. It's just that what we wanted as fans was Bill Murray. And he is technically in it. We wanted.
I think they tried to make it too funny, in my opinion. Like, I still liked it. But they tried to make it too slapstick.
And you have to admit that something like Ghostbusters was very much a male-dominated fan base.
And it was.
It was. And all of a sudden, throwing out Bill Murray, throwing out Dan Aykroyd, Ernie Hudson, the other 4th actor, I forgot what his name is. He had passed away prior to that.
Well, and it's weird to see Sigourney Weaver go from, a kind of like a dominant, role from Alien to a feminine woman in Ghostbusters, because I'll admit, when I saw her in Ghostbusters, I thought she looked pretty fucking hot.
Yeah.
Like, I always thought she was attractive. I never thought her as, like, not that it matters. She's just a phenomenal actress. But, like, damn, like, that end scene. Have you ever seen Ghostbusters, Tim?
No, you're just insulting me, Jack.
Oh, I don't know. You're looking at me like, oh, they're talking about Ghostbusters. I haven't seen that. But like, dude, at the end of that movie, I always thought she's gorgeous.
She's an attractive woman.
She's a very attractive woman, and she's a very strong. She was like, a lot of people hated the Defenders. I loved her character in the Defenders, like the Netflix series. For all its faults, she was really good in that. I wish they hadn't done her the way they did.
She was good for 2 episodes.
Yeah, but like still, like she was imposing. She has that figure, like in terms of acting presence. Like, yeah, I mean, she is tall. She's like 6 foot.
You know who's imposing for the females in the so-called entertainment? And this might be weird to throw out there, Judge Judy.
Yeah, I mean, you
think about it. She was somebody you didn't want to mess with.
Absolutely. No, that's true.
Dude, I went to Catholic school all my life. Up until high school, all I had were female teachers. In fact, when I was a kid, I thought teachers were only female, and these were strict. They were nurturing and they were tough. They were. I'm talking about Mrs. Rothstein, shout out, Miss Teresa, Mrs. Schmidt, Mrs. Menno, Mrs. Weiss. These were strong, like tough women who were also compassionate. Like, you get hurt, but like our principal, Dr. Grace O'Neill, she taught a Holy Family recently. She's retired. Excellent disciplinarian. Like, I kind of grew up with female authority in my life, and I wasn't like girls. I was like, no. I always thought women are better teachers than men. I've had great male teachers and professors, but in my 20 plus years of going to school, high school, college, grade school, kindergarten, teachers were always better teachers. Women were better teachers because they can be both assertive and compassionate. Men sometimes can't be. They got to be one or the other. It's sometimes hard to do both for men. That's why I think. But like, going back to this thing, like right now they announced, and this is kind of on topic, there's going to be a new Predator film coming out. And right in the headline, if I can find the, where did I put it? Here we go. Right here. New Predator movie will be called Sqaud and feature a female hero. Now, right off the bat, this could be freaking amazing. Sqaud, yeah. But like, you could tell, like, who owns Predator? Is it Warner Brothers or is it
Disney?
Disney. Oh, shit. Disney owns it. But you can tell right with the marketing, they're like, woman hero, huh? Predator's never had a woman hero before. I'm like, what about Anna in the first Predator? And they're like, who? I'm like, yeah. You don't even know who I'm talking about, dude.
I know. I was about to say, she survived.
She survived, and she was kind of badass herself. It's like, give me the weapon. Like, she was tough, you know what I'm talking about? You've seen Predator, right, Tim?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about? The woman they captured, at first she's a POW, like she's a prisoner, but then she's like helping Arnold. He's like, go, get to the chopper. I'm like, dude, she's badass.
Get to the chopper. Yeah.
She outlives all the other muscleheads. She outlives Carl Weathers, Apollo Creed. She outlives Jesse Ventura, Shane Black. And, and I guarantee you, whoever put that headline about Predator is unaware that there have been strong female characters. Actually, what was the one?
Comments is actually he's 100% correct. Alien versus Predator.
Oh yeah, what's her name? That actress. She's African American. Oh my God, her name is Sana something. Hold on, I'm gonna look this up.
Yeah, Alien versus Predator, the first one. Yeah, because she teamed up with the Predator to take on the Queen.
She was able to make it out.
You know what? That movie is not a masterpiece by any stretch of the imagination.
It's not, but it was fun.
It was actually a pretty fun movie, and I kind of liked how they. Her name is Sana Lathan. I knew her from. She was in Nip Tuck, and she was amazing in that. She was in like a small arc in like one of the later seasons. But like, they've had strong female characters. So like, again, the headline's more important. But all of a sudden, our Ashley, Riley, my sister, what's the other girl's name? Shelby, the girls I knew in college, are they going to drop everything and go see Predator now? It's not going to work. The people who are going to watch Predator anyway are going to be nerds who are nerd chicks, stuff like that, who are already into it. And then I guess but what was the movie? God, I wasn't getting Dusk Till Dawn. Guy who was in
Salma Hayek?
No, who was the guy who made
Quentin Tarantino?
No, the other one.
George Clooney?
Robert Rodriguez.
Didn't
he make a Predator movie or he produced one?
I don't remember. If he did, it might have been the one with Lawrence Fishburne and Adrian Brody.
Adrian Brody, all right. So that one I actually kind of enjoyed. I didn't like Adrian Brody in that, But that's where they're dropped.
He tried to play Arnold. I didn't like.
Yeah, and I like Adrian Brody's like he was trying to do a deep voice. It's like, dude, we know what you sound like. You do not sound.
I know you sound like a nerdy guy. Come on.
Yeah, trying to sound like something. But there was a Spanish actress in that, or I think she was supposed to be Israeli. Like her and Adrian Brody are like the two last survivors. She was badass.
Yeah.
She was like a sniper or something. I'm like, like that's how you do it. You put a male or female in a situation that they cannot win. And
it's just funny how they get lazy with the name of the movies too, because the first one was just Predator, and then the second one was just Predator 2, and then the third one was Predators, and then the fourth one was just The Predator. Like, where's the imagination?
Yeah, exactly. I agree with you 100%. So look, do you think the next Doctor Who is female? Because let's say they find a good male actor, and all of a sudden you're gonna have the media say, "Oh, they got rid of the woman just to make room for the guy."
Well, from what I understand, they already have the woman picked.
Oh, okay. Oh, they have somebody picked. Okay, well there you go. Like I'm fine with that. But for me, it's not.
And she happened to be in Black Panther as one of the guards.
Oh, it's an African American actress.
Yes.
Oh, that'll be interesting. And again, what matters to me is story and stuff like that. So, what? While we're talking about cancel culture, we have any last thoughts on this topic? We're still going to kind of transition into it because we're going to get to South Park.
Let's just get to South Park.
Let's get to South Park, folks. Thank you for joining us today. Ty and Austin are not here; they're watching the Suicide Squad. I'm jealous. I'm jealous of seeing the Suicide Squad. I'm going to go see it next week with my.
I'm going to watch it on HBO Max because I can't afford to go to the theater at the moment.
Yeah, I can do. Theater's expensive. I've seen 9 movies in the theaters. I found a local theater which only has $9 tickets.
Here's the sad part. I did go to the theater not long ago when they reopened, but I didn't pay for the tickets. My girlfriend did, and she happened to pick Boss Baby.
Any good?
It wasn't bad. I enjoyed it. We both enjoyed it. It was an odd one to pick to go back to the movies to see.
Yeah. I actually saw Wonder Woman on HBO Max, and then me and a friend, she wanted to see Wonder Woman, and it was off HBO Max. So I actually saw it the second time. I didn't mind it as much. But I'll tell you what I've seen we're big horror movie fans, so this is what I've seen in the theater so far. Just because I've been making a note, because Wonder Woman, Unholy Spiral, A Quiet Place 2, Conjuring 3, F9, Forever Purge, which was actually pretty good, and Old. I saw Old last week, and then this week tomorrow night I'm seeing Green Knight, and the next week I'm seeing Suicide Squad. But folks, you've seen my Jack Attack on cancel culture. You know that I'm not a fan, but I have my reasons. Well, folks, let's get into it. And he didn't do anything for South Park, so we're just going to put JWW episode 20. So here's what happened. Have you guys ever seen an episode of South Park called Castlevania?
I'm all caught up on South Park. I've seen every episode, every special they have put out, and movie.
Okay. So basically, here's what happened. A lot of people don't realize that the places in South Park are real places. So Casa Bonita is a real place. City Walk is a real place. In fact, they even said that if you call the City Walk, the guy sounds like the dude from...
City Walk, take your order, please.
Yeah, take your order, please. Exactly, right? That's exactly what he sounds like. I'm glad we don't know who said that one. I know who said that, but like that way. But anyway, there's a place called Casa Bonita, and Matt Stone and Trey Parker are going to buy Casa Bonita, right?
Okay, I didn't hear about that.
Oh, yeah, that's what we're talking about. So here we go. Matt Stone and Trey Parker are going to buy Casa Bonita, the landmark filled for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. All right, so this is a real place that was featured in the show, and the episode is arguably one of my favorite episodes of South Park.
Oh, same here.
Wants to go to Casa Bonita, so he has to figure out how to make
Butters disappear.
Butters disappear, right? And he's got to make Kyle happy. He puts on a sweater. He's like, you wearing a sweater does not make you cool.
And he's like, I don't know the difference. Exactly my point.
He's exactly my point. So let's get into this, because this has happened. There is a writer, Robin DiAngelo. I've read some of her stuff. This is what she said. She wrote a book called White Fragility. Here we go. She claimed that adult comedy TV allows white people to be self-consciously racist. And this is her point. If I can find the article again. She said, comedy is, I think, an excuse to be racist, right? This is her quote. I think TV shows like Family Guy and South Park and maybe The Simpsons allowed white people to be racist self-consciously. Like, I know I'm being racist, and therefore it doesn't count, and it's okay. I don't think it's benign to do it in a joking way, and there's a concept in comedy called punching up. There are very different power dynamics, and it doesn't hurt in the same way. It doesn't invoke a deep, centuries-long history of oppression when you poke fun at, say, white people. So like, I would argue, like, dude, they make fun of everyone, and she's saying, well, making fun of white people is punching up, right? Meaning, like, white people are, according to her perspective, so that white people have a higher place in society, and therefore making fun of white people is okay, but if you pick on people of color or something like that, this is what she says. But it's very, very different when you poke fun at people of color. Now, South Park and Family Guy have always been sort of in the limelight about pushing the edge. The only difference is now the media, movies, Hollywood, everyone is very much about being PC. And I would not be surprised if a show like South Park were to be canceled by Comedy Central. I hope not.
Highly doubt it.
I think she's wrong. I think she's dead wrong. I think she says, like, punching up, we don't punch down. There's a lot of punching down that goes down in comedy. I think from her perspective, she's probably on the left. I think the left does a lot of punching down to Southerners, to rednecks, Trump supporters that time. Not to get political, but they do a lot of punching down over there. But
Yeah.
we wouldn't count that. With a show like South Park, the one thing I love about Matt and Trey, look, I'm a devout Catholic. There are episodes of South Park I'm like, ugh, shit. There's an episode about the Virgin Mary bleeding that I can't watch anymore. I'm like, ugh.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Because he's an alcoholic.
Yeah. So, no, here's the thing. So, this is, people say it's one article, but a lot of times these cancel culture things start with an article. Because then at some point, because here's the thing. South Park was in its ratings peak during the Bush years. A lot of people forget during the Clinton years, they crapped all over Bill Clinton. And then during the Bush years, they crapped all over George W. Bush. During the Obama years, they were kind of silent about Obama. But in the last few years, I would say going about 5-6 years, they've gone really hard after these sort of what they call the social justice warriors. And they really went, in other words, wham, 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 wham. So here's where it started. I'll tell you a story. Do you remember a couple of seasons ago, they started a character called PC Principal? Charlie, do you remember that piece? Okay. I had a buddy of mine who was a hardcore South Park fan. I would say I'm central left. He's like,
I am too. I am too. Like I said, I've seen every episode, every
Yeah.
movie, every special.
I'm like, dude, you see that PC Principal thing? That was hilarious. He's like, yeah, I don't find the humor in that. I'm like, that's
No,
you.
yeah.
That's insane.
You're that dude. You're the guy. No offense to you guys. I'm like, you're the white guy who's more upset about racism than people of color. I was like, oh, I'm so aggravated, like that type of thing. Like, that's you. And he stopped watching South Park. I'm like, damn. He was a hardcore fan. He's like, no, I don't think this is funny anymore. I don't get the humor. And I'm like, dude, they're making fun of guys like you, who's always trying to make everything about politics and trying to make it woke. And I'm like, they're kind of making fun of you. And
The term PC, political correctness, or whatever you want to call it, it's like there's no such fucking thing, people. Come on. It's not a real thing. It's just something that people made up because that was one way to tell people, stop saying what you're saying.
Exactly. Well, you know what George Carlin, the late, great George Carlin, he said
Rest in
that
peace.
Political correctness is fascism disguised as politeness. And look, I'm going to tell you right now, like, I am not the type of person who generally enjoys raunchy humor per se. I like South Park. It took me a while to get into South Park, but I'm not the type of person who, like, I'm a very polite person. I'm very, I guess you'd say, politically correct in my behavior with others. Like, I don't make offensive jokes to, try to hurt someone or anything like that.
Well,
but
yeah.
South Park, yeah, I think most of us are like that. We're polite people, and you should be polite. But when you have shows like South Park and Family Guy, and Family Guy, I think recently has kind of gone down this road. They said they're going to stop making gay jokes, which is fine. I don't care. But like, if they're doing it because they're afraid.
But if they make gay jokes big deal, I mean, they're just jokes. They're not meant to be serious.
They're not meant to be serious. But okay. Here's my thing. Right now, like Matt and Trey Stone, Matt Parker and Trey Stone gave an interview recently, and they said, we've been waiting for this. Like, we're surprised it hasn't happened yet. Like, yeah, they came under fire and made them more popular. Now, I think the environment is very different. Because I could imagine Comedy Central, who's owned by Paramount, who's owned by Viacom, coming under pressure to cancel a show like South Park, because I think recently, I think it was 2 seasons ago, they did they kind of picked on the trans community a little bit with like a Macho Man character who claims he's trans so he can get into a wrestling ring and beat up strong woman. And like, I wouldn't be surprised if
the only time I ever remember them making fun of transgender was with the Caitlyn Jenner character, and that was it.
Oh, really? So there was an episode. So you're familiar with the character Strong Woman. She's married to PC Principal. Or
yes.
So she's like competing in like amateur wrestling or whatever, or freestyle wrestling. And her ex-boyfriend, he looks like Macho Man. He sounds like Macho Man. He says he's a woman, and he's automatically led in to fight her, and he beats the crap out of all these women. And no one says anything because they say, well, he says he's a trans woman, you know. And again, people saw that as very anti-trans. I thought they were kind of making fun of transphobia, but I guess that's perspective. But like, all of a sudden, articles went up right up the wazoo. Like, this episode was transphobic. Matt Stone and Trey Parker. I'm like, no, you idiots are making fun of transphobia. Why can't you see that? Same way that family kind of makes fun of homophobia by, you know. And I think in today's cancel culture, I would not be surprised. Not the South Park cancels itself, but like if Viacom or Paramount puts pressure and like tell them to either censor their episodes, which we know they don't want to do, or the show is canceled. And I think right now in a very PC mindset, because everyone is very PC right now. Hollywood, the movie industry, Olympic Committee, everyone's like, don't step on anyone's toes. And I always say, not that I need that, but you lose a lot of creativity and spunk.
Well, do you remember when they did the Muhammad episodes?
Yeah, well, see, now I think if that were to happen today, back then people took South Park's side. Today, I think people would take the side against South Park. So for those of you who don't know, Tim, do you remember this?
I remember. I've seen multiple Muhammad episodes. How many were there?
There was technically 4 altogether.
Yeah.
Technically 4 altogether, because there was one where you meet the super best friends for the first time, and you see Muhammad, not censored, no nothing. But then when they do the whole, what was it, like kidnapping Muhammad, then they put that censor bar on him.
No. There was a Family Guy one too. Remember when they made fun of Family Guy because Family Guy was going to show the Prophet Muhammad? And then there was another one when they were going to kidnap Muhammad, right? That's the one where Paramount just said, nope. They even bleeped out the name of the Holy Prophet. They censored everything, and then Matt Stone and Trey Parker were like, look, we don't agree with the censorship. But this is also around the time Charlie Hebdo happened. Do you remember that? It was a French magazine. They made a very irreverent joke about the Holy Prophet, and then they got bombed, I think. I think someone went and blew them up, blew up the headquarters and killed a lot of people. Back then, people said free speech is paramount. I can disagree with them making fun of the Holy Prophet, just as I disagree with them making fun of the Virgin Mary as a Catholic. But I don't have the right to tell them, you don't do that. I have the right to turn it off. That autonomy belongs to me. That if I don't want to watch a certain episode of South Park or South Park at all, I have like 2 million other things I can watch. But in today's culture, I feel like we're very much in a culture where if I don't like something, it has to be taken down. Not that I won't choose to watch it.
Like, if you don't like it, then don't fucking watch it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, these are banned, by the way. Batman's right. Those Muhammad episodes, that sounds like, let me look at those up. They're not on HBO Max.
You can watch them on HBO Max.
Really? I tried looking for the Family Guy ones. They were taken down. At least when I tried looking it up. I think the only way to watch them now is that you have to buy
Family Guy's on Hulu.
No, I'm talking about the episode of South Park where they made fun of Family Guy because Family Guy was going to show them.
The Cartoon Wars. That's what it's called. Cartoon Wars
Part 1 and 2, right? I tried looking for them recently because I think I was like, we'll watch that one again. Was it really that bad? I couldn't find it. So then I was like, oh, crap, I have to buy whatever season that was, 10 or 11, which had those episodes.
I could have sworn it was on HBO Max.
Maybe they put it on there now. But like when HBO Max first launched, they said we have all South Park. Gone. They're gone. Like, it was crazy. Like, you just see them just not there. And like, Batman saying they're banned. They have been banned for a while. In fact, they were not making fun of the trans woman. They were really kind of making fun of, it was the guy who was clearly faking. They was making fun of that guy. They were not silent about Obama. I don't remember them doing too much. The only thing I remember about Obama is they did one episode when he got elected.
They did 2 episodes actually.
Yeah. And I don't even like it was actually like the election was like a hoax to like rob something, and that Sarah Palin was actually really a genius. But here we go.
What was it?
Here we go. Is blackface okay in a joking, non-satirical manner? My immediate thing is like, I think of like what do you call it? Tropic Thunder. Look at Tim. Tim's like, I'm not getting canceled.
Just no, you cancel, whatever. You know, but no, I don't know.
Tim's like, I'm gonna be fine. But like Tropic Thunder, I think that movie would get a lot of. It was already trying to get heat.
Tropic Thunder was hilarious.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You know what I mean? But
yeah, but like I think they were kind of making fun of like the like Robert Downey Jr. in that movie is just so like holy crap. I mean, just
he's
so
great in that, man. And just even like and another very sensitive topic when he's going off about Ben Stiller for Ben Stiller's acting in Simple Jack. Oh my god! I mean,
you make me happy.
You have Robert Downey, the way he is, and making fun of Ben Stiller and his acting, in that movie. I mean, there's just so much wrong in that whole scene, but it's so funny. I mean, I don't.
But that's the point. It's funny because it's so irreverent. Because they're kind of making fun of the fact that he did that movie to win an Oscar, right? And like, oh, if you play like a character that's disabled, you'll automatically win an Oscar, right? That was kind of the joke they were doing. So then, Robert Downey Jr. says, you went full retard. Like that was kind of the joke. It was kind of making fun of the Oscars because at the end, when Ben Stiller does win an Oscar, if you look at like the nominees, it's like Sean Penn, he's blind, Tom Hanks in a wheelchair. Like that's the type of movies the Oscars like. It was meant to be satire. And by the way, in the movie when Robert Downey Jr. says, I don't break character until I've done the DVD commentary, if you listen to the commentary for Tropic Thunder, he stays in character until his character takes off the face,
That's brilliant.
Yeah, but Justin, so you said it was prime satire, which I was okay with. But I would say that worked because it was in certain circumstances. I think if you were to do it like hypothetically, could you see Eric Cartman doing blackface? I think he might have done blackface in the show, and I would be like, yep, that's something that Cartman would do because Cartman like loves Mel Gibson and Hitler and like like I could see that happening.
Well, I mean, there was an episode of South Park where Chef was on vacation when it was the summertime, and they had that big old giant snake thing, those that you use when you light on the 4th of July that just grow and grow.
Yeah.
And they were having a hard time trying to figure out how to stop it, this and that, and then all of a sudden they blow it up. It's ashing everywhere. But when Chef comes back, everybody's covered in ash to where he takes it offensive and thinks they're all trying to be black.
Yeah, that's
And he says, all right, all of you line up because I'm going to slap the shit out of every one of you.
There's another episode where they want to come up with a new flag, and it's like black people. It looks like white stick figures hanging a black stick figure in the kitchen.
Oh God, that was actually one of my favorite episodes too.
Like that is true satire, and it was great. Is that South Park doesn't always necessarily tell you what the right answer is. It's just like, we're just showing you. And some episodes are just like, we're gonna be irreverent. We're gonna be irreverent, dude. In the Muhammad episodes,
the guy who's
a stick figure of Jesus pooping. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, no, but I mean, like the guy who was hanging, in general, were like, but no, see, he's got a smiley face on, and he's hanging.
Yeah, he's happy. Oh, South Park had a whole episode where Randy said the N-word. Oh my God, that episode.
That's right. Wheel of Fortune.
It's so brilliant because at the end, Stan apologized to Token, and Token's like, "Why are you apologizing to me? You didn't say it." He's like, "My dad's stupid." He's like, and then Token's like, Jesse James, or it's not Jesse James. What's his name?
Jesse Jackson.
Jesse Jackson is not the king of black people, and he storms off. And Stan's like,
and he's like, "You told my dad he was."
Like all of a sudden everything is forgiven, and at the end when Stan's like, "I get it."
I don't get it.
I don't get it, and then Token's like, "That's right, you don't get it," because
as in I will never understand what it's like to be a black man in your shoes to be
called that word exactly. And I'm like,
yeah,
that is so much like, and Batman makes an interesting point. What would happen if that episode aired, let's say this season, in a new season? I think there'd be uproar. I think people would completely mess it because I think everyone right now in America is stand before that final moment. Like, I get it. Yeah, it was wrong. Don't worry. I talked to Jesse Jackson. I talked to Al Sharpton. Everything's cool now. And it's like, no, it's not cool. But like, South Park right now, I think is the only show that is like sticking by its guns right now. That says like, we're gonna do whatever we're gonna do. Every other show is curtailing. Every other studio is curtailing, and I don't think they really want to. They're just afraid. They're afraid that the Twitter mob is going to come after them, and because South Park might be the show that might become more relevant in the next few years if we keep going down sort of the politically correct rabbit hole. That might be the one show that says no.
They always made fun of it. They always made fun of like this. In my opinion, I call it the stupid people. You know, and that's what they've been known for since the day they started. You know, I mean, Cartman gets an anal probe. They're making fun of like people who have those experiences.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the first episode. I forgot about that.
I mean, because that was the pilot.
Yeah, that was the pilot. Yeah, that was the pilot. But like, it's a show that I think, right now, I think it's been off air, not maybe a year. They did a movie special or a TV special.
They've done 2 specials.
They've done 2 specials, and they haven't really come back with a full season yet. I think it's been a while.
I think it's supposed to come back this year, though, like in the fall.
I would love them to just be unapologetic, crap on both sides.
They never apologized. Yeah. They've never apologized for anything they've done because they've made it clear that they're not making their shows to be jerks. They're making their shows because it's comedy. It's supposed to be funny. It's supposed to poke fun at those that take shit too serious when it's not meant to be taken serious.
Yeah, but I would say like right now as a country, I'm talking about America because everyone is taking stuff way too seriously when it comes to movies, television. Like that being said, it's not that there aren't issues that need to be discussed, but it seems like they find like the smallest thing. Like Bill Burr, I think did a special. I think it was at Saturday Night Live where he said people were like, "Oh my God, we're gonna cancel John Wayne." Like, can you believe he said that? And he's like, "Yes, the guy was born in 1909. What do you think he thought?"
No, I know.
Like the dude, even the guy who was born in 1909, like. What did you think he was? Like really politically correct and woke? No, he probably wasn't that type of person. Like he's already dead. He's been dead for like decades,
Oh, I know. And Bill Burr also talked about CNN. Yeah. I don't know if you heard about that part, but he even talked about how all the, news outlets, no one ever talks about anything positive anymore. It's always just attacking others. And if you're going to be a reliable news source, you all need to be on the same page.
Yeah. I think right now the news sources are all worried about the woke stuff, maybe with the exception of Fox News. But Fox News is always doing their own thing.
Oh, yeah.
And right now, like CNN and MSNBC kind of sound the same. It used to be that, okay, MSNBC is far left, Fox News is far right. And going back, CNN was like, okay, that's the one you're going to get the facts only. If you do get some opinion, it's going to be an opinion show. Like they used to have the show with Tucker Carlson against like a Democrat, and they would like call Crossfire.
Tucker Carlson gets on my nerves.
Yeah, but my point is though, like when it came to reporting, like now it's pretty obvious that every reporter is either afraid to speak out against this stuff or they're saying it's not a big deal. I'm saying it is kind of a big deal. So like at first people wrote, we're canceling Trump on Twitter. Okay, fine, he's a jerk, whatever, blah, blah. But now they're going after their own. Now they're going after movie stars and singers because of something they said. Kevin Hart got taken off the Oscars for a joke he tweeted 12 years ago. And I think that a lot of people are just being silent about it because they don't want to be the next person like, hey, Jack, on Facebook in 2008, you said this. And I'm like, oh, crap. And I got to be in front, like, I didn't mean it.
I would have been like, okay,
I'll be leaving
deal.
Pop Culture Corner. This is not reflect. It's like too many apologies. And then I think the other problem is that crowd has automatically designated anyone who disagrees with them as right wing when that's clearly not true. It's like, oh, that means you're right wing. It's like, no, I'm not. I just, or Matt State Parker, they're Trump supporters. No, they're not. They made fun of Trump a lot in the last 4 years with the Garrison running for president thing.
Oh yeah, I mean, people. It's one of those. I am who I am. You are who you are. I have my beliefs. You have your beliefs. I will be wrong. You will be wrong. But who's going to call each other out on?
Exactly. I mean,
and don't be afraid to be wrong.
Exactly. That's the point. You can change your mind about information, and I don't know. I think I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But I would love if South Park when it comes back with a bang. I want everyone to get mad. I want everyone to get upset, and I think it might even find a new audience with people. Here's what the power of art: when people want to make a statement but they're afraid, they gravitate towards art. Like the V for Vendetta movie was such a good movie because it came out in a time during the Bush years when they were torturing people, when there were these things called extraordinary renditions where they would kidnap Americans or immigrants and take them to another country and torture them there.
Yeah.
They couldn't do that here, so that's how they got rid of it. It started in the Clinton years, and all of a sudden a movie like V for Vendetta kind of exposing that type of fascistic behavior in the name of security was like a really powerful movie. That's why The Dark Knight Returns was such a popular graphic novel, and The Watchmen both at the same time. They're reflecting either Reagan's America or Thatcher's America. And people gravitated towards those graphic novels because they saw what was happening around them and they were asking questions. And here you have comic books doing that, but I don't know if comic books are still the medium to do that, because now it seems like everyone's trying to out-woke each other. And look, the basic tenets of being woke, I'm not against. I want more inclusivity. I'm glad that there are people who look like me in movies who aren't terrorists. Like 10 years ago, if there was a guy who looked like me, he was going to be terrorist number 5 and Kiefer Sutherland was going to blow his head off. I'm glad that the diversity is happening, but diversity alone doesn't make something, a work of art, good. Like people ask, oh, do you like Miss Marvel? You're Pakistani. I'm like, I've never read a Miss Marvel comic. I have no interest in Miss Marvel. If I see her the show, I'm going to watch the show.
It's such a terrible question to ask.
It is, but people ask that. But like, whoa, don't you connect with her because she's Pakistani? I'm like, no. You know what I connect with? I connect with Matt Murdock because he's a Catholic. And he's always talking about Catholic guilt. I'm like, yep, that connects with me. He's white Irish, I'm Pakistani American, but I can connect with that part. I can connect with the loneliness of Bruce Wayne or even the anger of Frank Castle. It doesn't matter to me what their races are, like that alone. But I think right now, going back to the Predator casting, it's like, oh, it's going to feature a female lead. Okay. Will it be good, though?
Oh, yeah.
And if it's not good, are you going to say that we're being sexist because there was a woman in the lead? You can't say that when, like, I watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer all the time. When some of my favorite characters in film are females.
Well, let's not forget that Natalie Portman's going to be Lady Thor.
Oh, yeah. And by the way, that's in the comics. Like, that happens in the comics, doesn't it?
I can't remember if it is in the comics or not, honestly. Probably
it does happen in the comics. So, again, that's not something they're just doing. And by the way, Natalie Portman is a great actress.
She's my crush.
I mean, I think she could kill it. I think she's going to kill it, and whatever they do beyond Thor 4, I'm curious to see that because I know that happens in the comics, so I'm okay with that. I mean, but I think that the discussion, this might be like the best conversation we've ever had on this show. Charles, we got to get you angry and get you on the show more often.
That's fine.
Yeah, we'll get you angry. And if there's a topic like this that comes up, and it probably will, we need to get Charlie on more. There is a Lady Thor. There's a Lady Thor, and then there's Jane Foster becomes Thor. I think they're two different characters, I think. There's like a female Thor who's Thor, but like a woman in the same way that Sylvie is Loki, but a woman. And then there is when Jane becomes the worthy of the hammer,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, Captain America was able to wield the hammer.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Hammered anyway.
Maybe he's the new leader of Asgard. They're like, hey, he loved the hammer. But oh man. Okay, so we have a few more topics I want to go over. How you guys doing on time?
So far, so good.
Because the next few topics are not going to be as long. We're going to do them real quick, and then we're going to wrap them up real quick. All right, guys.
That's fine.
Stick around. So this just happened yesterday. Bob Odenkirk was hospitalized. It kind of happened suddenly. According to Variety, it was a heart thing. They're not quite saying it was a heart attack, but they're saying that he had a heart condition, whatever. He's filming the last season of Better Call Saul. I think, Tim, you're a fan of Better Call Saul?
I'm a fan of both Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. Sure.
Yeah. You said, and I could be wrong, that you thought that it was actually in some ways better than Breaking Bad.
Yes, I did say that. I'll take that quote. I'll take credit for that. Yeah. Breaking Bad, I don't know if it was just I didn't watch it live. I was pretty late to it. There was a lot of hype surrounding it. there still is, for anyone who watches it.
Well, I've never seen Breaking Bad, so I couldn't answer any of that.
Have you seen Better Call Saul?
Nope.
I mean, Better Call Saul, very slow as well. I think it hones in, though, on a lot of at least my personal favorite characters. Saul, Bob Odenkirk being one. Michael, played by help me out here, Jack.
I know you're talking about Mike.
Mike.
Caden, I think Caden jumped out when we got into cancel culture. Who played Mike in Breaking Bad? Jonathan Banks, the great Jonathan Banks.
Jonathan Banks.
Yeah.
Rhea Seehorn right now playing Miss Wexler. She's blowing up. I mean,
was she the character who was in the last season of Breaking Bad?
She was. She's been in. No, she was not.
Okay, I'm thinking of someone else then. Okay, because it's a prequel. So I don't know if you're familiar with this, Charlie, but like it's a prequel. It takes place like a few years before the event.
Oh, okay.
So it's like it's setting up the guy who becomes Walter White's lawyer.
Okay.
Yeah, but I just wanted to say I wish him well. He's actually become a pretty good actor, and a lot of people don't know this about Bob Odenkirk. He was one of the finalists to play the Michael Scott character in The Office. He was one of the last choice. Yeah, he was one of them, and eventually, of course, went to Steve Carell. But in one of the later seasons, they brought him back to play another character as sort of a nod to him. It was while Breaking Bad was still on. And I think Michael meets him. Is like, oh, I love this guy. Whoever this guy is, I love him. And Bob Odenkirk is just one of those actors who seems to have had a break in his career later in life. I know they did a movie recently. I didn't see it, where he kind of plays like an ex-hitman whose family is threatened.
Nobody.
It was kind of, I don't know what it was called. You know what it was called?
Well, it's weird that you bring up Bob Odenkirk and his condition, because just a few days ago, I found out yesterday, of course, but one of the founding members of the band Slipknot, Joey Jordison, passed away at the age of 46.
Tim's a Slipknot fan.
All right.
Yeah, isn't that great? Did they say what it was?
No, I haven't heard anything on what it was. All I know is that apparently, from what they're saying so far, is that he died peacefully in his sleep. But people kind of question it because he was only 46.
Oh, that could be anything, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
rest in peace to Joey, because he was one of my inspirations for drumming. So.
Oh yeah, you talk about the life of a rock star. You know that substance abuse unfortunately does happen. So I hope we find out. Slipknot was like sort of the music I started playing when I'm not gonna pretend like I'm a Slipknot fan, but I used to play just to piss my parents off. So you listen to heavy metal? I'm like, yeah, I listen to heavy metal, yeah. And I'm more of an '80s metal fan. In fact, I was supposed to host an '80s music quiz the other night, and that got canceled.
I love all kinds of music.
Yeah, I like everything too. You got Tupac behind you.
Yes,
like
I do. Also. Poetic Justice.
Yeah, I've never seen that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, well, directed by John Singleton, who did Boys in the Hood. And because Janet Jackson, she's in it. What's her name? Oh my God, I'm forgetting her name, but she was in a movie called Higher Learning. I'm blanking on her name right now, but I can't look.
Let me clarify something. I'm sorry. Bob Odenkirk's character didn't appear until Michael left. I'm sorry. I thought the two had met. You're right. I'm mixing it up with when he met David Brent. You're correct. I'm sorry about that, folks. Yeah, my bad. Go ahead. Keep going.
But I forget the girl's name, but it's, black girl, and she's actually pretty popular and kind of in the mainstream as well right now. But I'm trying to remember her name, and it's killing me. I'm looking it up
right now. Regina King?
Yes, thank you.
Regina King, Watchmen.
Yes.
Yeah, she's in Watchmen. I didn't know she was in that. She's been around a long time. She was in like a huge part of season 6 of 24. She's always been a good actress. She's never given opportunities until now.
Yeah, she's in Poetic Justice as Janet's best friend.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Great movie. If you like Boys in the Hood, you like those kind of movies, I believe you'll like Poetic Justice.
I always loved Tupac.
He's great in it. He did a great job in this film.
And she's in the Boondocks. Okay, Justin Hines. He's in the Boondocks. Okay, cool. Speaking of which, actually, we should have brought this up earlier when we were talking about, Scarlett Johansson suing
Disney.
Disney because of the movie being dual released. Christopher Nolan, apparently Netflix is trying really hard to get Chris Nolan. But the issue is, and Tim, I don't know if you're familiar with this, Chris Nolan left Warner Brothers because he wanted his movies to come out on the big screen. Well, Netflix doesn't really put their movies out on the big screen. They would be exclusively on. So what do you think? I mean, do you see Chris Nolan like being like, yeah, if the money's good, I'll do it? Or do you think
if the money's good and he's able to do what he wants to do, then most likely yes. But I'm sure he would probably make a deal with Netflix to say, well, it should at least get a short theater run, if anything. Kind of like what they did with Army of the Dead.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, or even look at Universal right now is patting themselves on the back because it looks like Fast 9 is going to beat Black Widow at the box office because they did not do Universal Pictures or even Paramount could reach out and say, hey, Chris, you want $200 million to make the next movie?
It would be a shame, though, man, because the big screen is really the only way to enjoy
the only way to do it. Exactly, which is, I think, that was his big thing. He's like, last night, a bunch of directors went to sleep thinking they worked for the best movie studio, and now they found out they worked for the worst streaming service. He said that about HBO Max. Like, he was pissed. And Chris Nolan is like is kind of like a gentleman. Like, he's not the type of person who makes controversial statements. He's not the type of person who tries to stir the pot.
He kind of keeps to himself.
He keeps to himself, yeah. But for him to make a statement like that, I think I know that David Zaslav, or whatever his name is, he's going to be the new head of Warner Media Discovery, whatever they're going to call that. He says he's going to try to repair some of those relationships. But I think Netflix, they have the money. Netflix has the money to do it, to give Chris Nolan. But I think if he doesn't want to look like a hypocrite, he's going to have to either do what you said, like either it's a dual, either it's in theaters first or nothing. Because I think then people are going to be like, well, I'm not going to go see it in theaters if it's going to be on Netflix in 2 weeks. So he might just be like, Universal will be like, hey, we'll partner with you, make whatever you want, and it'll be a Universal film.
Well, Scorsese caved, right? I mean, he got his little theater release just so he can go to the Oscars that year with the Irishman, right?
True, but here's the thing: Scorsese's movies don't necessarily. Well, actually, no, that movie costs a lot, The Irishman, to make.
Oh, all that CGI on a.
Yeah, never mind. I was gonna say like his movies.
The de-aging.
Yeah, because Chris Nolan tends to make.
I mean, it looked great. But,
well, it's funny that you mentioned The Irishman because Al Pacino is actually going to be in a new movie with Lady Gaga and a couple of other actors in a movie called House of Gucci.
I saw it.
Oh, is that the one with Adam Driver? Is he in that?
I think it might be Adam Driver.
Okay, yeah.
But, I mean, when I saw that, I was like, that's interesting, especially Al Pacino.
Al Pacino is just he was so good. Like, my favorite scene in The Irishman has got to be the one where he meets, was when he comes out of jail and him and De Niro, they go to the new mob boss. And he's like, you apologize for being late. He's like, you apologize for the racial slur. And he calls him an Italian slur. He's like, you. Mm-hmm. And they start going at it. I'm like, God, I love Martin Scorsese. They don't make movies like these anymore.
Oh, yeah. And it's funny because as good as, like, say, Joker was with Joaquin Phoenix, I know that Scorsese originally was going to be the director for that.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of sad that it didn't work out that way because it would have been nice to see how his vision would have been.
Yeah, exactly. And, I mean, when Scorsese said that Marvel movies aren't real cinema, I was kind of outraged at the comment. But in the last year or so, I've tried to re-examine why he said it and what he meant by that. And I mean, I personally did not like Black Widow, but I see a lot of love for Black Widow. And I'm like, okay, maybe I see what they're saying, because I didn't think it was by any stretch of the means of a great move, but the critics were like showering it with praise. And I'm like, okay, so how did this not do critically as well as the Snyder Cut, which I thought was a way better movie than Black Widow?
Oh, yeah.
But like the critics will praise that movie and they'll say, well, there are still issues with the Snyder Cut and like give it a lower score. But then, that's just me. Hawkeye apparently has an official release date. Did you hear about that?
I think it's November.
Yeah, November. Here we go. And so this is what we got coming up from Disney. So What If, which is the animated thing, August 11th. Shang-Chi, September 3rd. Miss Marvel at some point, September, October. Eternals will be 4th of November. Hawkeye, 24th of November. And Spider-Man, No Way Home, December 17th. Holy crap. That is a lot of Marvel.
I will admit that I'm more excited for the Eternals and No Way Home.
Yeah, I mean, No Way Home. I mean, there's such a tight lid. I don't want to say a tight lid, but like people are just like wondering what the hell is this movie even going to be about? Like there's so many rumors about what that could be. But are you guys excited for Hawkeye? I mean, like I'll watch it when it comes out, but I don't necessarily. It's not really blowing air up my skirt.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I mean,
he wasn't even a character I enjoyed in the movies either.
That's the next series coming out, correct?
Well, I think. Well, actually, before that, I think What If comes out first. That's gonna be animated. I think Miss Marvel comes out before Hawkeye.
Oh wow! Oh,
Yeah.
Never mind.
But Hawkeye.
I just wasn't a fan of that character.
I mean, he's an OG Avenger. I guess that's probably the biggest selling point. I think he's one of the first Avengers in the first film. I kind of liked his arc in Civil War and into Endgame, but like I don't know.
I like the actor. I just don't like the character.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'm that excited about it.
Weren't there rumors that kind of, I don't know, I guess before the Black Widow release that he was going to have something to do with the Taskmaster role that they were going to train into?
I didn't hear about that. I thought you were going to talk about the rumors that he something happened with him and his wife. I don't remember exactly what it was, or there was some accusations made against him about physical abuse. I don't know. I thought that's where you were going with that. I don't know how true that was, but
no, that just got real heavy.
Charlie, do you remember that? Like there's
something
involving the actor who plays Hawkeye.
Jeremy Renner.
What is it?
What?
Jeremy Renner.
Jeremy Renner.
That there were some accusations made towards him of abuse from his ex-wife or his current wife, or I don't know. I remember it kind of happened and then it disappeared very quickly.
She probably recanted only because she knew that she was full of shit, because kind of like the same situation when Johnny Depp and Amber Heard, I believe things are being thrown out of proportion and not being told truthfully. And it's just, I mean, Jeremy Renner, he's a good actor. And yeah. I think it's just kind of like when people hate what they see, they tend to attack those that are doing well.
Yeah.
That's what I believe.
Maybe. Look, I hope we'll I'll see. Hopefully, though, I wasn't crazy about Falcon, Winter Soldier, and WandaVision. I didn't think they were bad.
Loki was awesome, though.
Loki was phenomenal. I'm like, whoever the hell is writing Loki, can you get more writers like that? I mean, I need more of that type of writing, that more type of, it just gets you a little, where's it going? I don't know where it's going, but Loki was phenomenal. And whatever they have planned for season 2, maybe he pops up in a movie before that. I mean, aren't there rumors he's going to be in Doctor Strange, or didn't they confirm he's going to be in Doctor Strange? I'm not sure. They said he was going to be in Doctor Strange, right?
You never know. He could be in Spider-Man. We don't know.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Wow. All right, guys. Whew. So Caden put up David Ayer's tweet. But I think we'll save that for another day. Guys, Charlie, I want to thank you. Tim's not even a podcaster. Oh, Caden's back. But I want to thank you guys so much for doing this with me. I actually had a lot of fun. I was like, okay, so I'm not going to have a time. You had a great time. I
had a good time, too.
Yeah, I had a great time, too. And Charlie, if there's a topic that you see that you're worked up about, I want you to come on the show and just go. Just go.
Just whenever you need, I guess, like a special guest, just let me know, and I don't mind joining.
Yeah, absolutely. And you came through for me a couple of weeks ago. Ty, I think, was falling asleep during the broadcast. He'd been up all night. He was like this. Yeah, Loki was really good, man. And I'm like, listen, just say you have to go. I put in the private chat, and he's like, yeah, guys, I'm falling asleep. I'm like, don't tell them that. But whatever. Like, I had a blast. We got to talk about a lot of topics. Actually, we got through almost everything. Listen, Charlie, why don't you plug yourself for our viewers who don't know who you are? Tell us about where they can find you.
Well, of course, everybody, I am Charlie. My channel is Raging Entertainment, and then my Instagram is Raging_Entertainment if anybody wants to give me a follow. And if you guys want to subscribe, just head to my YouTube channel, Raging Entertainment. And that's basically it.
Yeah. And what I like about Charlie is that he's old school, and actually I'm a physical media guy. The only time I get stuff digitally is stuff that I didn't want to buy, but it's on sale for like $4.99. I still prefer physical media. All my favorite movies are on physical media. It looks better, especially in 4K. And Charlie does a lot of great reviews. He goes in depth about, okay, you're buying this. I think you just did one. What was it? Space Jam?
I did Space Jam yesterday. I just put one out for the Shout Factory release of the Transformers 1986 cartoon movie.
Oh, okay. So, guys,
Yeah.
like, I'm a big fan. I know I'm planning on buying the Justice League, whatever box set. I don't know if they're going to be enough.
I already have it pre-ordered, so
you already pre-ordered. Okay.
Yeah.
So definitely check him out. If you ever want to see Tim, come to Bonks on Tuesday nights. Tim, you're single, right, ladies? I'm joking. No girls watch this show.
Yeah, that's true too. It's not even worth it.
And man, maybe you'll read Ashley and Riley. I know everyone loved them when they came on. They're talking about the Kardashians. Everyone's just like this.
Yeah. Oh, everyone's a big fan of them.
Yeah.
We'll stuck with me this week, but yeah, maybe they'll be back.
All right, guys. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Tonight, I think tonight, Ty and Austin are going to do a non-spoiler reaction / review type thing. They're not going to spoil anything about James Gunn's The Suicide Squad.
Let's hope they don't.
You guys want to watch. We'll see what they do. They're not going to spoil anything. They're going to be cool like that. I think they might do a spoiler review. They might film one and then release it after the movie comes out. And then on
Probably.
I'll probably do. I'm going to wait to do my own review on this show after it's out because I know the whole world wants to see it. For those of you who are trying to boycott the movie because you want the Snyderverse restored, I say, look, it's your money. Do what you want. But I still think that if we should celebrate good art. And if the rumors and the reviews are true, this is a good movie. You should support it, and we can still support the Snyderverse being restored. Hey, I completely forgot. We know there's a Batgirl TV series coming to HBO Max right before.
I think it's already there, unless it was a different one.
Yeah, but apparently what got announced is that J.K. Simmons is being talked to be her father. So this would be within the Snyderverse, yeah, because she's an African-American actress, but they said, well, what if she's mixed? What if James Gordon's wife, Barbara, who's also named Barbara, is African-American? And so this would be within the Ben Affleck, Batfleck Snyderverse. So, guys, there's still hope. There's still hope. Don't keep sending the retweets. Keep finding it. I think Integrity 101 ran away when I said go see Suicide Squad. I know some of our members are like, we can't even hear it. We don't want to see anything unless it's Snyder related. I understand where you're coming from, but you should support good art. And right now, I think the Suicide Squad is going to be really, really cool. Guys, thank you for joining us. I want to thank Charlie. I want to thank Tim. I want to thank Caden for joining us today. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe and share. We'll be back later tonight or tomorrow. We'll be here because we do it for you and we do it for the culture. Kevin, get in here!